It's just slow.
Just taking a second.
Yeah, there it goes.
Are you getting it?
We are live.
We are live.
Hey,
Insert rap music intro.
we do need some intro music, dude. I'm just saying.
We need to get something. We'll get something.
Come on.
So, welcome to another episode of OnlyCops. We are back with our weekly Officers Breakdown. I'm sorry for TikTok. I was not able to get on TikTok today.
We'll do that tomorrow.
I work. Oh, we can do it tomorrow.
We'll be together tomorrow, so we'll do a TikTok, Instagram live.
Together. So anyways, welcome. If you're new to this channel, we do weekly Let's Plays and we do weekly officer breakdowns where we basically every video or meme or whatever that's related to law enforcement, we gather once a week to come on live and talk about it. So you guys have law enforcement related questions, drop them in the discussion below. I monitor the discussion. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I say this early because sometimes these can get long-winded, but without further ado, Bill, take it away. It is your show.
They can get long-winded. That is a fact.
Yep.
Damn, I was going to open my laptop, too. That's okay.
Oh, he's getting bougie.
I just want to be able to see the comments.
All the comments? Yeah. I leave them on my phone so I can see them while they're up. So
that's not a bad idea. But I found some training for you.
Hey.
I know we've...
it's better than Dust.
We've watched a lot of Dust training, so I figured I would keep the ball rolling here.
Oh, I'm about it.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Someone's getting
it's
robbed.
A dojo live. Oh my
god.
Oh my god.
Oh, hang on. Whoopah!
Oh, I love that one. I love that one. You know what? I will say this though.
What?
His violence of action, which if anybody,
especially that one, dude, that one,
that one's pretty.
Like the leg lock, the jumping leg lock on the arm.
So before anyone gets a soundbite out of this, where I bless this as actual training, it is not legitimate. Obviously, it's called McDojo. They know what they're doing. They're memeing, but I will say this though, from a violence of action standpoint, that's pretty legit.
It's a lot. It's a lot better than Dust. I can tell you that much.
I'll tell you what. I would give this, if Dust is like a negative 500 out of 10, this is probably like a solid 1 out of 10. You had the courage to do something. You had the courage to do something, moved with violence and intention of action to go save somebody. Probably going to die, but hey, I respect the attitude.
Maybe. So. I really think some of these moves, if you were to catch this guy off guard, it might work. Like, you might surprise him so much that it would work.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, look at it. He's got the urban camo on.
I know.
He's ready. He's ready.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the earpiece, Isn't wearing, like, skate and stuff.
No, I think he's ready. So, this one was interesting.
So this is, where's this from? Breaking 911.
So it's
shout out.
Polk County, Florida.
Of course.
Of Florida. Course. Yeah. So.
Specifically Polk County.
Florida. Yeah.
It's the first time we've ever done an investigation like this. They were totally bold and totally brave.
Have you,
but what I'm going to
have you read it?
Next, you're just not going to believe.
Oh my God.
You can't even make this stuff up.
I really like this chief.
So let me set the mood for you.
Oh my God.
We swiped left. We talked to this person. I'll sell you some marijuana. Our undercover detective arrives at the door and he knocks. The fella opens the door. The house is dark except for mood lights.
Kind of like my room.
And candles.
In my room right now.
By the marijuana.
Ooh, I need a candle.
In the bedroom. So our undercover detective said, I'm really uncomfortable about this.
Our faces on it.
We just have mood lights and candles. So he says, I'm checking out the rooms the best I can clear them. In
this chief is a great storyteller.
As I walk down the hall.
I love it.
We had a chief like that once.
We did. He was pretty suave.
He's charismatic.
There's a man laying on his back.
Here it comes.
And another person, let's just say, engaged in erotic conduct.
There we go.
Follow me now. The detective looks, and there's pornography playing on the television, and candles all around, and the guy laying on his back while engaged in...
Hang on. We need to make this point. Do you remember that one apartment we went to that was like a prostitution deal gone wrong? And she ran down the street and called 911 from Cracker Barrel?
Yeah. Well, because we saw her coming in.
Yeah. Does this not sound exactly like that?
Also, shout out to that area. The fact that this prostitute ran to a Cracker Barrel was incredible.
But remember, we walked in there with Sarge, our favorite Sarge.
Our favorite sergeant.
There was porn on the TV, and like the candles were lit in the bedroom, and like...
About that. We almost blasted this dude's door in, too. You know what? One of my favorite Heat officers was on that call, too.
Yes.
I missed that guy.
My
little shiny...
top 2 favorite Heat officers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Morgan, yo, what's going on? Welcome to our discussion. If you have any law enforcement related questions, let us know. And Kristen, I love Sheriff Grady. He's pretty awesome. Is he a sheriff or a chief?
He is a sheriff.
He's a sheriff.
I was calling him a chief, but he's a sheriff.
Yeah. I love this guy. I also like this green dude. I'm not gonna lie, it does something for me.
Yeah.
This green uniform's pretty nice, actually.
Florida has a lot of green.
Nice, dark army green. It's kind of nice.
But we'll. I just wanted to make sure that we didn't forget that story. So
yeah,
keep going.
We might tell the story later.
Activity is petting a puppy, a Pomeranian.
This guy is too much.
He says, "I'm here to buy the marijuana." The other fella. John
no.
is preoccupied at the moment, engaged in inappropriate conduct. He says,
he's in his house. It's not inappropriate.
It's on the table. Just take it and leave. And he continues his inappropriate conduct while the guy on the bed is petting the puppy. So we took the marijuana and left. But we returned to arrest John Panzarella for delivery of drugs to us.
Can you imagine?
You can't make this stuff up. He didn't even stop long enough to complete the dope deal and collect his money. Just take the marijuana and leave. Yeah.
He threw it on the floor.
What do we got going on here? How have we arrived where you think it's safe enough to sell drugs?
He said has arrived.
To anyone, to advertise wide open, to not stop your doing the wow thing long enough to complete the sale.
The wow thing.
This is the most bizarre thing we've seen in a while. And we see bizarre stuff every day.
This ain't
Florida. With that,
I don't know, dude. I don't know if that's the most bizarre.
A warning for the future. We're not going away. If you sell your drugs,
that's enough of that.
He gives his elevator speech here, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't care. It was just funny.
Yeah, I will say this though, like we if you want to find it, it's out there. That's probably in every city.
Yeah.
Where we were at, we saw a handful of things. There were some.
Not like that though.
I never walked into a dude jerking it with a Pomeranian.
But also, we weren't undercover. We weren't narcotics officers.
Yeah, I was about to say, narcotics officers probably have way more interesting stories because they're also doing buys and stuff like that. And
Vice and narcotics, dude.
They do some legit stuff. Those guys don't get paid enough, probably.
Yeah. Well, they got paid the same as us, so we know it's not enough.
That's what I mean. Yeah. I could sit on my phone and do Netflix all day, and these guys are out here having to do buys.
But they got to have beards.
Shout out to Police Post. Hey, I get to have a beard now.
Yeah. Me too.
Yours is nice, though.
Mine's ridiculous right now.
Anyways.
So, keep going. This was a story post that I sent you that they finally got up into an Instagram post. So, this was in Chicago.
Oh, I think I remember this, yeah.
Chicago 2 days ago.
I'll tell you everything you need to know. Oh. Bro, he didn't get hit? Holy shit.
If he did, he's taking it like a champ.
Yeah, no kidding. Look at that. They're getting somebody out of the way. Look at that. These guys are absolute savages, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a...
So is the passenger the one that shot, I'm guessing?
I can't tell. I think so. But there's bullet holes here, it looks like.
I think it's from the officer that shot back.
Because the camera moves, so it's hard to see. See, I don't know. Yeah, I think it was the passenger.
Yeah. Let's see, what does it say? Officers pros extreme gunfire. No officers were injured. 2 weapons recovered.
Yeah. So here's the... Look at that thing.
Oof.
Yeah, dude. That's
Bro,
just
this is a South Dallas special right here.
That's
baby.
just rolling around in Chicago right now. No big deal.
Super off-brand light, and
yeah, dude.
I tell you what though, that it like, every time I see shootings like that, it gives me heartburn. I will say this: shout out to the officers surrounding that. They didn't all get sucked into the shooting that was happening.
Yeah,
they were out there extracting people from cars to get people to safety. Shout out to those guys, bro.
Yeah,
it tells you how often that happens there.
Oh,
that's really
once a shift.
That is indicative of just how crazy it is out there. Please post, bro. Please post this. Oh, bro, Houston, Texas. Texas had to represent out here, right? Shit, dude.
No,
I hate Houston so much.
Well, I hate this video. So.
Yeah.
Here's the car. So.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about this one.
Let's preface this. So they got called to a domestic. Surprise, surprise. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm about to get mad again. I'm listening.
So they get called to a domestic, and on their way, I don't know if it was like a gnarly domestic. There's not like information on it yet. Somehow this guy sees them coming and gets in his car and takes off. They figure out that he left. And since they're chasing him, I'm assuming it was a pretty good domestic, like, because you're not going to chase somebody for like an argument,
not a class.
You know what I mean? So I'm assuming there was like some bodily injury, maybe severe bodily injury, based on the way that this guy reacts. I don't know. Chase him. He wrecks out. He wrecked out over here, and then this happens.
Jesus, that was a lot of shooting.
Yeah. So cop here, cop there, and there's this guy running.
I'm gonna pause it real quick. So, and I think it's Tennessee versus Garner, right? That's the fleeing felon.
God, I think so, dude. It's been a while.
If somebody can Google it and correct me in the chat, they can.
It's one of them.
If there's somebody fleeing that's got a weapon in their hand and they just use deadly force, if there's an officer watching this, this isn't legal advice, but I'm just saying there is case law that says that you can seize a person with deadly force. It's perfectly lawful.
I mean, if he shot at me like that,
yeah,
I don't think there's any chance.
So, and I'm going to try to do this in the most polite possible way I can.
Well, hang on. He goes and carjacks someone.
Get out.
From
after this?
Yes. So even more reason to just drop this guy.
Sure.
Because he left that car, he ran down the road, carjacked someone, and then took off again.
So, and a lot of people get a lot about. I guarantee you, which is probably what should have happened, but had he been shot here while he's running like this, oh man, that city would have burned to the ground. But,
Houston? Oh yeah.
But dude. A lot of people will sit there and say, well, he's not posing a threat to anybody, right? He's running, right? I was like, well, but he was a threat to his significant other. He was clearly a threat to these law enforcement officers. Yeah. He was a threat to everybody that was in the way of this pursuit. And he eventually became a threat to... So, like...
He was a threat to the general public.
Until you stop and put your hands in the air or lay down on the ground or whatever, we have to go based off of the actions that you gave us.
Yeah.
And if the actions that you gave us were crossing the street, that's one thing. Or if the behavior that you gave us was like speeding a little too much or whatever, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if it's beat someone bad enough that you get chased, run so bad that you endanger the public, and then actively try to kill law enforcement, my guess is you're running to do more of that, not less of that. And so to all the people that are going to get heartburn about us saying they should have shot this guy in the back right here, right now, that's the why. We have an obligation as law enforcement. It's a weird burden that law enforcement uniquely has, but they have an obligation to stop that person from harming anyone else.
Yeah.
Let's say he would have gone off and killed somebody else. What's the family of that
people? He easily could have. I mean,
oh yeah, and there's plenty of examples of that happening.
Had the person not given up their car, so he's committed. He could have shot them, killed them, and just took it.
Oh sure.
So
my question always with these type of situations is, at what point do we hold that individual accountable for their actions? At what point are we not asking the question as a public? Well, what else would be your response to this? What's a better way to stop him? That's what I'm getting at. Like, what's a better way? I guess you wait till he gets tired.
Yeah, wait till he gives up.
What I mean? I guess he runs out of bullets or whatever.
He'll just give up.
Yeah. So a lot of people are never going to be faced with that decision to make of, do I take this person's life to try to possibly protect other people's life? Yeah. That being said, and is kind of going all back to what burns me up about this, is that this guy's suspect in custody. Bro, you're telling me, dude. That's what I said when I read this.
Yeah.
This came out of a domestic. This was somebody's significant other. And what drives me up the wall about this is that, like, how often did we see this type of stuff where the guy's strangling somebody and then running, and we're having to kick doors and stuff like that? I'm
pretty sure he turned into a barricaded suspect. Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah.
So my and I'll say this, and then we can kind of go on to the next thing. So it's because of the predicament that these officers are being placed in that they really should have shot this guy. They didn't, probably because of the reasons that the city probably would have burned to the ground. Nobody cares about the victim of the domestic assault. Nobody cares about the potential victims we could have had while he was rampaging. He could have killed a family of 4, Ethan Couch style, Nobody's worried about any of that kind of stuff. They're concerned about making sure that he gets taken into custody safely, despite the fact that he is not taking any regard for anyone else's safety.
It's just himself.
When you're the officer that almost got killed in that instance, you start to lose a lot of empathy for people doing actions like this quickly. And then when you start to watch officers have to engage in this and do make one of those really area decisions and get absolutely hemmed for it, or hung for it, or go to prison for it. I'll give you what Bill and I went through. I decided that y'all aren't worth dying for.
It's true.
All of the officers that are currently still doing the job right now still believe you people are worth dying for, in general. And that's not just you people, the suspect here, or the victims, or the society at large. It was that, in general, I am willing to place my life on the altar of society to try to make it a little bit safer. I came to a decision in early 2021 that y'all weren't worth dying for, because that's the price that people really expect you to do. Sean, I'm not even going to read your comment, but I love it.
She was the victim.
She was the victim, probably.
Guarantee it.
Let's be honest.
Guarantee it.
I think a lot of people don't fully understand how frequent this situation plays itself out. Oftentimes, you don't have somebody as motivated as this guy is to hurt other people, or as capable as this person was to hurt other people. And we're lucky he wasn't more motivated or more capable or more prepared to do it.
We're lucky he's a shitty shot.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. It's like a lot of people don't understand that, like, this happens like all the time. Yes, 100%. I have legitimately. I was in field training, and we had to kick a door. It was a Spanish-only call, and this guy had, like, thrown a table at his wife.
Oh,
and
yeah.
her head was cut open. She was really messed up. and he basically barricaded all of them in there. We knew they were in there because we could hear. Call take could hear us knocking, basically. And when we kicked it, and I'm pointing a gun at this guy because he's basically holding his wife hostage. The guy looks at me like, "How dare you kick in my door?" Like he was offended that I went in there. How dare you beat your wife half to death?
Seriously,
how hold her hostage? Like, how am I this is the Reddit? Am I an asshole? Like, am I the asshole in this? Like,
but really,
it's very weird.
The problem isn't the police response. The problem is these people that stay in these toxic ass relationships where they can't help but beat the shit out of each other.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Is there's never.
No one talks about that. That's
people will go into a lot of talking about victim blaming, or they'll talk about not understanding someone's situation, that they're like, oh, they're too poor, or that their circumstances about society that make them. I was like, no. I dealt with homeless people that had legitimate mental illness that they were medicated for that never did this.
Not even close. Never ever. And
so I don't have a ton of sympathy for anybody that's going to commit violent crimes against people, to be honest. I lost that after trying to be I had a kid, and it's public record, so it's not a big deal, but the kid's name was Stefan, and I'll just use his first name. And at 16 he goes, punches his dad and his mom, and jumps out of a window, foot chase with us. He runs from us and all that stuff. And when we took him into custody, because I didn't want to hurt him, I brought him very gently to the ground, and then he went and hit an arm, and he dragged my hand across the pavement. He cut my hand completely open. Disgusting. And I didn't charge him with resisting, causing injury to officer, because it would have been a felony. I didn't charge him because he was a kid. I mean, the kid was 16. And literally 2 years later, he goes and murders somebody. It's like experiences like that happen to probably every city cop out there that deals with somebody, and I legitimately felt like I killed that kid. There was something, because I sat there and tried to think, well, maybe it was his circumstances, or maybe he's just in a tough household, or maybe he's committing acts of violence against people.
Yeah,
you have to. I'm sorry. Anyways, before I can get on a real pedestal with this kind of stuff, but it.
Here, we'll finish this, and then there's another video. I don't know if you see him. Yeah.
You can see that they're kind of converging.
Here's a traffic camera.
Jesus. God, even more shooting. Jesus.
While you see that video there, just tell...
Shh. I don't want to hear you talk.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. Wow. I love the way the new guys... Wow, that seems really stressful. Yes, it is very stressful.
Wow.
You can imagine.
My heart rate jumped just watching this video.
Wow. I hope those officers...
Bro, and look at the area. This is pretty close to downtown.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah.
We might have a whole discussion on that at a different time, but it kills me to deal with that.
Yeah.
High five, society. This is what you thought was okay.
Yeah. 5 days, 8 officers, traffic accident, vehicular assault, gunfire, traffic accident, gunfire, vehicular assault, gunfire, traffic accident. And I think the guy that shot the constable is still on the run. I think.
Yeah.
But shit ain't worth it, dude.
Well, and like I said, these people believed that you guys were worth dying for and actually did it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see how many politicians sign up for that.
All politicians care about is their money.
I'm just saying. And like I said, I had elected to myself that it was not worth it. And that's why I'm not there anymore. And any officer that leaves for that reason, high five, welcome to the club. It's a lot less stressful. But to the people who are still actively wanting to get into that profession, that's a real possibility that you pay that price.
Yeah.
And for the people that are still doing it, God bless them. To be honest, because I don't know how they get that.
Yeah.
Past trauma does not excuse bad behavior. I mean, producer one, high five, my dude. talking about it is useful and helping people understand why bad actions may happen, but plenty of traumatized people don't commit violent crimes.
I'd say most. I think it's a small percentage that.
And it really, I have seen people
that.
experience awful crimes or awful sets of circumstances with terrible childhoods and grow up to be, albeit probably either medicated or having to really go through therapy or having like triggers and PTSD, but they like don't want to hurt people. Once you've elevated your behavior to either self-harm or harm to other people, just harm in general, you're getting past that point. Self-harm's different than hurting other people, but
it's still an action.
Yeah, you're getting past the point where it's like now reasonable and understandable. I have all of the sympathy in the world for people that are suffering. All there's no way to look at that and not feel bad for those people or feel empathy for those people. And then again, there's the people that simply aren't getting help, and they might turn to substance abuse or self-harm and so on and so forth. But like, committing acts of violence against other people or victimizing other people because of your suffering is complete bullshit. I have zero sympathy for those types of people, to be honest. I wish God blessed me, if you know what I mean. Well, hey, it's never too late to quit, as I always tell people.
Until it is.
Until it is.
So
anyway,
I liked this guy a lot before, but now that I'm noticing he has like a handcuff belt buckle, I like him a lot less.
Oh no.
You've got 25 years. You're going to spend a year and a half figuring out how to do this job, or you're just going to say, fuck it, it's too much for me, blah, blah, blah. You want to hear a good tactic tip? Tough to do because we're all kind of impatient. Go out and watch traffic for 5 days. Don't touch a car. Just sit there on the side of the road for 3 or 4 or 5 hours and just watch every car and try to figure it out. It's just one big puzzle, one big game. Kenny says you can expect probably about 12 to 16 months before you start getting good at this stuff. So you've got an option. You've got 25 years. You're going to spend a year and a half figuring out how to do this job, or you're just going to say, fuck it, it's too much for me, blah, blah, blah. When I started getting into business about 7 years ago, I started getting business books, and they're like, you can expect it to take at least 5 years before you start seeing progression and growth. And I'm like, I'm in. 5 years goes by like this, folks. Like fucking this.
Boss? Did we just Uncle Dennis? Yes, bro, a handcuff belt buckle. I'm from Texas, so I don't stand for belt buckles that are disrespectful like that. And on what he said, I think you learn by doing. I think that especially in law enforcement, like there's no amount of training that can prepare you to be good at the job. There's a good amount of training to prepare you to have better knee-jerk reactions to stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I think
maturity is huge.
Yeah, but I think that I think oftentimes the lack of patience that I think departments have on preparing individual officers. I think field training probably should be longer for a lot of departments. Academies probably need to be way longer.
I still stand by the fact that you should be 24 before you can start.
That too. I'm with you.
You know what I mean? Yes. Like, we had three or four just turned 21-year-olds. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. But I've seen a few things that he's done or that he's talked about. And I mean, he's coming from a place of experience. And I agree with 90% of what he did say. The only thing I would push back on a bit on what he said was to sit there and just like watch traffic, if that makes any sense. I was like, you need to be in it. You know, it's pretty rare to, and I was not a county guy, nor was I a state trooper, so I never had time to just sit there and stare at traffic.
Yeah, I mean, traffic wasn't really our thing either. Like,
that's what I was getting at too. It was considerably less. Typically, if I was stopping traffic, it's because I saw it on the way to something.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, I got time. Like, this is like a noise complaint or something stupid, or I was truly unencumbered, and there was very specific areas I was interested in doing enforcement action on.
Yeah.
So, I like the class his company put on, but he is kind of a Gary V of the. I don't know who's Gary V.
Yes, he is. Yeah. Very. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, it's good information, but his delivery is.
I don't like being
weird.
sold stuff.
It's not really that. It's like I don't know. Gary Vee is like very motivational, but in a specific way. And it's like you can always do more, you can always learn more, you can always accelerate and like do more, and I don't know.
It's a shtick for sure. The other thing that killed me, and it was the dumbest training I think we ever got, was verbal judo. Because
that was training.
I sat there and watched a video of this guy saying, "I appreciate that, but," and that was his like mind-blowing thing for verbal judo, was just say that you understand even if you don't understand. And say,
I thought that was satire.
I really thought it was comedy. I really did. And then I realized like he was the guy that invented the term verbal judo, and that the class we were taking was designed around like his philosophy. And I was like,
I learned more verbal judo working at Costco and dealing with those people than I ever did in that class.
What, you want to learn really good de-escalation skills, but also like verbal judo in general, go hang out with a narcotics officer.
Yeah,
those guys are incredible. Almost every single Gary Vee or Dust.
Gary Vee all day, baby.
Chris, welcome to the chat. I'm gonna vote, even though I don't know the guy, I'm gonna vote Gary Vee only because Dust is pretty cancerous.
Gary Vee, bro.
I appreciate. We have Sean. I don't know if Kristen's still here or not, and Chris in here, bro. What's going on, my guys? Okay, on to the next one. Deputies hard at work. Oh God. Stopping human loads.
There's music, so we're not gonna listen to it.
Okay. Oh shit! Hey, it's my people. Bro's a big truck bed, my guy.
Yeah.
That or these are short dudes. Let's be honest.
Well. Yeah.
My guy. These interdiction dudes. I tell you what, guys that do as much as I trash on troopers.
Yeah.
They're typically pretty good at interdiction. That's kind of all they do. So.
Those were sheriff's deputies.
Hey man, shout out to those guys. Police post. Shout out to police posts.
So, I don't know. We'll just watch it. There's not a lot to say.
Hey, this guy doesn't quit. He doesn't quit leg day, man. He stood up out of that. Look at that.
Well, very shitty technique.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. So I will say this: like, go to like right as he was standing, like as he's pulling on the door.
Here,
I tell you what, you get into this posture with a cop that knows what he's doing, you're about to get leg swept into next week. Like,
well,
oof.
Let's be honest. If you were a cop that knew what you were doing, he would have never got off the ground.
He would have never got off the ground. You're right. So, yeah, you wouldn't have.
But yes, if he had made it here first, like, if he had tried to run,
just caught him right in there. Yeah, he's getting leg swept.
Yeah.
So producer Juan says he has seen enough hentai to know where the humans go. Cool.
Oh boy.
What? And I like Anchorman can't help but read the comments.
Yeah.
Mike the Cop, shout out.
No, I'm not who you're expecting, but your driver got arrested for taking care. So I figured I'd complete that for you. Take care. Thanks.
Dude, how ballsy do you have to be a DoorDash driver with a freaking warrant?
I tell you what, though,
and it wasn't a misdemeanor warrant. Well, I guess it could have been, but
when they talk about community policing,
that's it right there. This dude deserves an award.
Seriously,
you need to write this guy up.
I need to write him up. Oh, bro, I'm about to annihilate this guy.
You need to write him up.
He's getting written up.
I gotta find out who he is. He's doing an off the books part time while on duty.
Bro,
he's door dashing in a police vehicle.
How dare you? How dare you use a city vehicle with city gas while on the city's dime to deliver somebody food? How dare you?
Seriously. So we don't need to read the whole thing, but you should definitely pause this video and read this on your own time. But it's basically police posts saying what we always say: city council and legislators are the problem. So.
Yep. Every time. Bail reform, bro. Bail reform is kind of cancerous. Now I will say this: the bail system in general, like.
Yeah. Well, and they only bring it up because the two cops that got killed in New York, the guy, they call him a career criminal, but he was out on bail, like for a felony. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It doesn't say exactly what it is, but
I can't.
So I mean, but we dealt with this every day. I mean, this isn't new. Like, it's not a new thing.
Yeah, so I'm going to keep up with the chat here, specifically for Sean. What is this? Hey, that was for the chat, not for you. He's talking about hentai, I guess. I'll show you.
Hey, Michael's here.
Michael, what's going on? DoorDash while working? Seems legit.
Hey, maybe if a cop had delivered your DoorDash the other night, it wouldn't have got stolen.
Exactly. Michael. We'll watch a chunk of this. We'll just watch what this lady has to say.
Prayers are with the families and the members of the NYPD.
It's a little messed up.
Why do all politicians look the same?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But also, it's a resounding call to action. We have to do more to fight the scourge of illegal guns on our streets.
What do you mean?
We'll pause it. At least I'm hearing it. It's really dicked up. I can't hear it very well.
And we need Washington teaming up with.
I think it's just her voice, dude.
No, it's like breaking up in my head here. I'm gonna keep up with this chat real quick. I gotta go give my wife the best 3 minutes of her life. I love you guys. Why do I read these?
I don't know.
Sean, I'll be proud of you to make it to 1:30.
Jeez.
And Kristen saying what's up to Michael. I watched this video in its entirety. Basically, this lady is a politician from New York. I don't know if it's city or state. Politician here. Shout out to Colion Noir, my guy.
It's the governor. So
the governor of New York.
Yeah.
Extra bit of cancerous.
I like this part right here. Last night, a shot from an illegal gun took the life of an NYPD officer. No, it was a criminal. It was a shot from a criminal.
So and here's where I'll get at this. This is where politics, semantics really muddy up like the issues that are like plaguing people in general. I think a lot of people. It's really rare you see people say illegal drugs. This guy OD'd on illegal drugs, or like the malicious drug dealer sold him drugs and so OD whatever. It's when you watch the way politicians navigate the issues that are plaguing us today in society.
Yeah.
They do it with like an implicit bias towards their platform, not towards like what's going to be good for society at large.
Well, they don't care about society,
and it's on both sides of the fence. I've seen it on both sides of the fence. What frustrates me about this specifically is that we have again an officer who shouldn't have died, but decided that he thought these people were worth dying for, and they cashed that check in, and this bitch has the nerve to then stand on his grave and say, see, this is why we need to, ban guns or whatever. She doesn't want to talk about the violence in the city. She doesn't want to talk about the gang culture that's occurring within the streets. She doesn't want to talk about how they've dicked up their school system and they've dicked up their economics, and that they've gentrified the certain areas that probably didn't need to be, or didn't support certain areas. That they won't talk about those things. They'll say, well, it's because we haven't gotten enough guns off the streets that these people.
Well, it's not their fault. Look, we need Washington to act now to stop the flow of weapons into our cities.
It's just deflecting a lot of the blame for what happened. And again, it's one thing if it's an election cycle or whatever, your political platform, fine, but don't go on like the day an officer's body is still cooling off in the damn box to go sit here and have this speech. It really kills me because it's really insensitive to the price that was paid for that, and that's if anyone dies to gun violence like that. They'll sit there and they'll talk about like fucking bullying, or they'll talk about like,
but if it was like if it was Chicago and it was just two gang members that shot each other, it would have never made the news.
Well, and again, because
it doesn't matter.
That they can only talk about that being a symptom of their like failed policy or that their failed ability to be good leadership. That's why they can at least sit there and tie this and say, well, this officer didn't have to die because if the laws were different or whatever the fuck it is. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, and any officer out there will tell you more gun control laws are not going to do shit for stopping guns.
Yeah.
They're getting it illegally already. Yeah, adding more laws.
And like I said, if you really wanted to, this is a conversation. If you want to have a government solution for things like that, let's talk about education. Let's talk about, what's it called? Mental health reform and things of that nature. I am all for that discussion. There are things a government can do. It's just the government can't necessarily fix the problem if it's not being attacked on a multifaceted way. Like it's not the violent act in and of itself. It's like, what are all these things that we could be doing differently to do that? And part of that is, again, enabling individuals to protect themselves at times, because you won't have, again, that officer's got a gun, a bulletproof vest, and a car and a radio, and he still ended up getting shot.
2 of them.
But it has nothing. It has nothing to do with the fact that the guns were present. He could have been beat to death. It happens all the time.
Yep.
He could have been hit by a car. Happens all the time.
Happens. More than gun violence.
It is the fact that you are failing economically, you're failing educationally, you're failing strategically as a city to plan for a way to allow people to prosper, and this is the side effect of that.
Yeah.
I kept up with the chat before we go on to the next one. Sounds and looks like a good old Pelosi. That's your comment.
Yeah.
This is the guy. This guy was literally on probation for a felony. Yeah, no shit. The law already says, and I will say this, when it comes to possession, right? And again, it's not the means of violence being carried out. It's the fact that violence is occurring that we really need to look at when we're looking at stuff like this. I don't
this
care.
Kind of violence, you're seeing this kind of violence more than ever.
If I'm, nailing a pedestrian or something like that who's on the sidewalk, same as shooting.
Yeah,
it's the same as stabbing him. It's the same as choking him to death. When you're committing so much violence that you're creating, they literally make in the law specific verbiage. It's the difference in between like simple assault, heck, even like provocative and offensive contact. I don't have to hurt you. I could just touch you. I'm now impeding on your civil liberties and things like that. I can cause pain that might not be like obvious and require hospitalization, or I can, as Texas state law talks about it, it's like protracted loss of limb or bleeding, things requiring hospitalization.
Well, you have some officers going out there asking those magic words. Did it hurt?
Did it hurt?
Oh, it did? Oh,
yeah.
Going to jail.
So what I'm getting at is like, when you're not fixing the problem there, or when you're not, as a government, acting right then and there, okay, violence is occurring. And if this person's perpetually committing said violence, well, I can't compare that person to the rest of the population because clearly they're the outlier. So why am I going to generate, if I already have a law for violence, and I already have a law for like committing violence against other people, how is like just layering more? We're just giving cops more opportunities to, I guess, arrest people for different stuff. But like it's
but
they're ignoring the root
what's
cause.
That doing?
That's what really kills me. That's what I'm getting at. Well, and even if the officers arrest them for it, the hell's the DA's?
That's what I was just going to say. They can get arrested 10 times.
What are the judges
get out 10 times?
There's a lot of fixing that needs to happen. What are we saying here? Criminals and gang culture is the problem. I agree. With the other factors contributing to both, not firearms. And I wouldn't even say, because we have, it makes sense to me that if you commit a violent felony that doesn't have some sort of affirmative prosecution, defensive prosecution, sure, I'm all for taking that person's constitutionally protected right away, because you clearly show that you can't be a fucking adult. It's the same thing with driving. It's the same thing with whatever. You cannot be a adult that doesn't hurt people, then you don't get to have these things. That counts for cops, to be honest. We have a discussion we're going to have later about that. It just, I don't know, pisses me off. 400 million guns in the hands of private citizens in this country, half of which are owned by Josh. Shh.
What? I thought you lost all your guns.
I did. That ship has sailed.
Yeah, and then it sunk.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, I think that I think too often we look at, like, they'll talk about gun violence specifically, and like they won't separate the two. It's violence that's being perpetrated by guns.
Yeah.
I'm just as concerned about like road rage if somebody's trying to my lane.
Dude, look at the UK and all the violence they have from blades.
One, and like I said,
and I would much rather get shot. I'm going to be honest with you. Like,
but it's we have created this weird like discussion centered around how we're committing said violence, and not just thinking about, like, I don't care if you're bombing somebody with mustard gas or napalm or a conventional weapon. It's all kind of shitty. Yeah. Like, if it makes it like, it's all shitty, and we should all look at it as shitty. And so, like, I always giggle when they were talking about not pepper spray, CS gas being against the Geneva Convention, and I was like, it's not because it's particularly heinous. God. It's because it's not fair. That's really the only reason why. And they start to talk about, well, warfare, this, whatever. No. War sucks in general. It's shitty in general. The fact that you're over here arguing about something that's inconsequential to the event, the fact that these people feel motivated enough to riot, and not just to like protest, but to go and destroy, property. It's not them being there that's the problem. It's not them being mad that's the problem. It's them being mad and being convinced that the way to solve that issue is to burn shit. That's the problem. And then, like, how we go about dispersing that, well, use CS gas, or am I going to billy club these people like seals on a beach, or am I going to, you know what I mean? Yeah. What alternatives? It cracks me up that they've made a political discussion around the how, not about like the why. And that's it.
Well, they don't want to take responsibility for anything, so you're not going to talk about the why if you're not going to take any accountability.
And that's kind of where it gets, like, people, they'll talk about like, and I don't want to get too terribly off topic here, but they'll talk about like minimum wage, for instance. And I'm like, man, if you could give me it's impossible with the population and stuff like that, but if you could just stop inflation, you can't. Good luck. But if you could stop or slow down inflation,
you can definitely slow it down.
I'd be perfectly okay with making $2 an hour if, a house only cost me $10,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't bother me a bit. I don't care what the number is. I care that when I'm working, it's worth something, or the money I'm accumulating is worth something. They'll be like, well, I want to make $25 an hour. And I'm like, I don't want to make $25 an hour if my house now costs $5 million. Like, I don't care.
Doesn't matter at that point.
That's what I'm getting at. It's like, they want to talk about, they'll make it about a number. They won't make it about like the bigger economic impact of making these stupid decisions. So all of these little political decisions are all like a game of semantics, and politicians have created it in between a game of semantics, and not like, again, it's not about the why, and it pisses me off every single time we get into it.
Yeah.
Let me get the chat real quick. You're creating more layers of loopholes for lawyers. Fucking, of course. She also stood on 2 officers' graves. That's true. Yeah. She had a casket for each foot. She had to complete the set. Jeez. Fucking politicians. That's pretty much it. What's the point of additional punishment for crimes they won't prosecute? No kidding. There's clearly a desire to look like they're doing something without actually getting something solved. Producer One's on point today, man. He's just spitting fire. You don't want to stop inflation, though. That means your economy has stopped growing. It's true, but like I said,
slow it down.
Yeah, reasonable inflation is one thing. Like, when you're getting like runaway inflation, it's when it gets like it's the what is it, like 3 to 5% we're supposed to see versus like the difference between 3% versus 12% is scary, scary big. It's untenable, because then like wages, they just like can't keep up, and like appraisers can't like accurately assess the value of anything, and so like all of this fiat currency kind of becomes for naught.
All
like,
right,
it's all
let's
like,
move on.
Anyway, we'll keep going. We can go on forever. So.
How in the is this possible? How in the is this possible?
We need a beeper.
I know, dude.
Let me just scroll down right here. Judge set bail to $250,000 in the case of Frank De Leon. He's due back in court late Wednesday. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. How is this possible? 17-year-old shot his girlfriend 22 times, and he's been released. Let's put this together. If you had a Glock in your hand, I mean, the one with the most rounds, I mean, you probably do 16. You got to reload. Unless you...
Yeah.
Wow.
That was also in Houston.
Yeah. So. Of course it's in Houston. Bail reforms... so the issue becomes, and it's the reason why, like, people talk about, like, abolishing jails, prisons, and stuff like that. I was like, you really don't want to do that. I was having a discussion with somebody about insane asylums, right? And I'm like, well, what's the difference in between, like, a school and an insane asylum? And, like, a school is just a place you send young people to learn, because you can't just, like, leave them at the house to just, like, atrophy and not learn anything, right? And an insane asylum back in the day was an abusive, terrible place because the government ran it, of course. But ultimately, it's a place you put people so that they, A, can't be victimized, and then B, can't victimize other people because they don't know what they're doing. They can't know what they're doing. And it gives a place for medical professionals to try to... in a controlled environment, figure out how to best help these people. In an ideal world, it's never going to be that way because we're humans and shitty. But a lot of people don't realize, like, there's a segment of the population that legitimately does not know how to play well with others. Either they're sociopaths or they've been desensitized to the point of mental illness and they're shooting girlfriends 2 times. And
he's not wrong though. Like,
yeah,
you had to reload your gun. Like, that's,
yeah.
If that's not malicious intent, what is?
Either,
like,
and even if you had, like, as the boys call it, estendos, you know, even if you had that, you shot it to a jam. You know, like, anyways. Producer Juan saying, "Oh, only economics over here. I love it. Or only economists. We can control inflation. Just print more money." Chris, bro, if you're making me beep, yo, I'm quitting. No, we need a button that we can.
Yeah, I'll get one when I get a new when I get an XLR mic. I'll get the little deck with the little beep button.
I'm not trying to. Bail reform is interesting because on the one hand, I'll let y'all read the chat. Y'all read the chat. It's a big comment, but I'm with him. Bail reform. There's a 2-sided coin to this because you cannot be unreasonably held for an unreasonable amount of bond, but there's a sliding scale for that. Dank police memes. I've been pumped about this story. I'm jazzed about this story. I'll let y'all read this.
I'll read it. Cop turned OnlyFans star claims she was shamed out of police job after 28 years by colleagues who found her naked photos and shared them around the entire force as she slams bosses for policing her bedroom. Come on. So there's. I'm gonna take both sides of the story, and I'll give you a perspective on this. So, when you become a law enforcement officer, you, like any job, there's a code of conduct that typically goes with that, and it's subjective. This is gonna fall under general orders, the law that you're breaking, or this isn't like a. You do not get constitutionally protected rights when you're a law. It's why a lot of officers don't like IA. It's not because IA is just this cancerous thing. They, like, literally get to... You do not have rights to IA. They're allowed to ask you anything, and if you don't tell them something, if you refuse to answer, if you plead the fifth, you're canned. You're gone. Yeah. There is no protection against that kind of stuff. So it is... That being said, there is something called conduct unbecoming of an officer. And that's very vague, and it's left vague, and it's basically... the chief or your command staff or your department as a whole gets to decide what is considered kosher or not kosher for police conduct. Sometimes they get specific and sometimes they don't. Selling nudes on the internet's probably going to be in there somewhere, right? I mean, we had an officer that did it.
So. That's true.
And a dispatcher.
That's true. Wait, I didn't know we had an officer. I thought you were talking about the dispatcher for a second. I didn't realize we had an officer.
There was an officer. She's
still there?
Nope. She left to go to the military, I believe.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting at here is that her quitting versus her being let go is very different. I don't know that this.
Yeah, she quit. She didn't get fired.
She didn't get fired. Because of the way that the government works and working for the government is, it could be something as petty as they just didn't like it, and they could have canned her for this, and I don't think she would have had an argument for saying that it was a wrongful termination.
I do, only because it's behind a paywall.
And that being said, where the reason why I was going to get to the flip side of this is that she wasn't. Well, I'll take this even a step further. Specifically in Texas, even if she was sharing, like let's say she was sharing this with a group of people because she had whatever weird kink that she's got that she wants.
She's got to market herself, dude. She's an entrepreneur. She's just marketing herself.
So if she were to share this with somebody, there's Texas state law says that you, even though you've shared it, you get to consent to or not consent to its distribution. And you can be held criminally liable, not civilly, but criminally liable if you distribute that and they don't consent to that distribution, or if they tell you to stop and you don't. And I think it's a felony. I think it's like a state jail felony in Texas. And so technically, by the letter of the law, and this is Texas state statutes, them sharing those pictures without her consent is a crime, and you would have had to go, and if she has to press charges, could have canned as many people as you wanted to there, because they would have been getting charged. It's going to be higher than a Class A misdemeanor, and if you're being charged, you automatically lose your commission as a peace officer, typically. So anyways, that being said, I think she was putting it behind a paywall. What's the difference in between this and a part-time job? If there's not a stipulation for her to not be able to have part-time work elsewhere, I'm with you that I would have agreed with. She's got a real legitimate argument for wrongful termination.
But like we talked about, this was genius by her. If she did this purely to get the attention that it's getting, because she is on a pay-by-view site, I bet she just made hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Easy. One, what's great too about this is if she's been an officer for 28 years, this is some Tiger King snatch going on here. However,
you can kind of tell by looking at her, it ain't.
Sure.
It's like a very niche audience that's going to pay for this.
What I'm getting at is she's at retirement age.
Oh, yeah.
So she's going to get her full pension because she's retiring.
She left on her own.
You retire, you get your full pension, and you start your OnlyFans with the biggest surge of...
Because all the comments, every single comment, what's the OnlyFans name for research purposes? Bro.
I'm gonna say she just said, I want to change my career to something a little, more profitable, probably a lot less stressful.
Yeah.
Go after it. I'm proud of you, whoever this chick is, for being on the entrepreneur you are. Girl, you do you with your bad self. You served your community for 28 years. You can go serve the internet for a few more. So you go knock it out. Like I said, it doesn't make me mad. I don't think it tarnishes the badge. None of that bullshit matters. In the same way that I don't look at the service that I did and think that there's other officers out there that do a shitty job that make me feel worse about mine. No. I think people look at it differently. Sure. This might affect the way people view the job. Sure.
Yeah.
Like, I give a fuck. Like, it shouldn't affect.
It just makes them look bad. Like,
agree. So go on with your bad self.
Better stop right now. Stop position. Hurry, me.
As he fights.
Stop right now. You better stop. You better stop.
We got him by the belt. But he's lucky he's not getting punched right now, I'll be honest.
You're hurting me.
You're hurting me. Yeah.
You're hurting me.
So
I'd go for the guillotine right there.
Yeah, deposit. So, what's interesting about this is so y'all can get to know what it's like to be a police officer here. I'm going to give you guys 2 seconds to answer the question: what kind of resistance is this detective experiencing, and how much force is he allowed to use because of that resistance? We'll let the audience think about it for a second. We have a specific word for this, at least in the way that we did it.
In our use of force continuum.
Yeah. So this would have been considered active resistance, right? Not assaultive. There was assaultive, which is way above that, and deadly, way.
Yeah.
But this is
active.
This is considered active resistance, which means you can put hands on people and like that. But I would argue that you would have a really hard time hitting this guy without getting in trouble. Probably even honestly tasing this guy, to be honest. Like, because he's on concrete in our department, that would have been a write-up for sure. But
yeah,
you really can only do what this officer is doing. I think you like leg sweep this dude and crack his head on this pavement, you're probably going to have a bad day, because they're going to say, well, you did that on purpose, and you're opening yourself up to a civil lawsuit for saying. Should it be that way? Probably not.
No.
But by the way that use of force is looked at, and you can talk about it being incidental, this officer's not trying to hurt this guy, clearly. But, like, this is about as good as you can do. Now, having empty hand skills would help here if you knew how to get on top of this guy.
Well, he had his back, and they were on the ground, and could definitely help.
That being said, as Chris Kaufman Jr. just pointed out, meth might be part of this.
Probably.
I would also take K2 or Spice. I would also take... I don't think cocaine.
No.
This doesn't look like cocaine to me.
No.
He's wearing too much.
It's meth or spice. One or the other.
Oh! Hey man, stop, man.
He lost his wig though.
Take it easy, man. Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Stop! Put your hands behind your back. No!
Take it easy, man.
He said no.
It's better for you.
It's better for you.
Don't resist, man. Don't resist.
He's very lucky to be not getting punched right now, to be honest, or kicked or any of that. Also, hey man, I know you detectives get comfy, but having a good holster is a good idea. Let me see if I missed anything in the chat. She's more like on the internet, a hidden blessing. Oh my god.
It's true. It's true.
Should she sue for lost wages? I don't think so.
She can't.
She's got
she
anything
quit.
for that. If she quit. I also think it's copyright infringement. Producer Juan, all mad.
Now, I will say there's an argument for that, because someone had to pay for that to get those pictures, and then to spread those pictures around without those other people paying for them.
I agree. Yeah. I'm with you on that. They canned her for her cans. That's amazing, Juan. Josh likes it from both sides. You heard it here first. 100%.
I could have told you that. That's not news.
She totally will. You better stop. I guess I was saying something off color, like normal.
Who knows?
And then producer Juan said A to, I guess, me saying taking it from both sides. I guess that did something for him.
What's going on, boss? Okay. Is this your car?
Pre-attack cues, baby. Pre-attack cues.
You have any ID on you? No, I still not in the room. Can we go grab it real quick? No, hang on a sec. Oh, she has it inside there.
Oh.
In the car? Yeah, right here. Sorry, it's secure. Oh, hold on. You're good. Just don't go in your pockets. Okay. It's in the room. Here. What's your girlfriend's name? Brenda.
Brenda.
Here, close up. You go. Wait. Oh, hang on. No weapons on you? No. Yeah, I'm gonna pat you down real quick.
No.
Oh, I'm a fucking bitch, bro. Hey.
Whoa.
Hey, stop! Austin needs help, shots fired. Austin needs help. Hey, get the gun!
34, my guy.
Yeah.
You go, wait.
So,
no.
Is it in his waistband?
Yeah.
I think it's
You
right
see
there.
Here? You see right here where he patted
right
it?
there.
He literally touched it. We talk about this in pre-attack. He was like,
Right
let's say
there.
this is my waist. He's like literally touched it.
Yeah, you can see it. You can see it right here.
Oof. So also, like, you notice how little eye contact this dude makes the whole time?
He was looking around. He was trying to,
he was pre-attack use all the way. Now, I will say this, and here's why, as much as I gave those officers heartburn in Houston about not shooting this guy that was running from them, this guy who had a gun on him was running. He's a fleeing felon at this point if he's possessing and he's not supposed to be possessing or whatever. What is this saying?
I was just reading it to see if they knew he had a gun, if they saw a gun. Points it. I guess he pointed it when he was running, but the body camera's just so shaky you can't see it.
It's so shaky, yeah. So what I'm getting at here is that the
he also makes a good point about radios here.
Bro, I was gonna talk about it.
Exactly what you say. He said that officer did a good job getting to his radio because it wasn't like down here on his hip.
Yeah.
And he said he looked it up, and there's only been one line of duty death from a correctional officer being strangled by a radio in 2011. That's it.
God.
One ever.
I want to give a shout out to Boom 11 for showing up.
Attaboy.
Welcome to the chat. Please read the comments. They are incredible. You did miss. You'll have to rewind, but you did miss the only officer now. I guess she's got fans. But yeah, we
thumbs up if you want her to get on the show. We'll try to make that happen.
Thumbs up. We'll see if we don't interview old girl. I feel like we could make that happen.
I don't know. She's probably so popular now.
Yeah, but you might just sit there and say, "Hey, this is an opportunity." We said something positive, at least, you know. We'll send her the clip and be like, "Hey, we want to talk about this." She's out now, so she can have this conversation.
We're all retired.
Yeah, I will say this. If you're an officer right now on the street and you do not have like an attachment to your portable because you're worried about getting strangled, you're an idiot.
Literally, you're an idiot.
And literally, there's only been one death in line of duty by getting strangled by your cord, and it was by a jailer.
That was a jailer. Yeah, come on.
He didn't need to be strangled with his cord to be killed. Let's be honest. I'm not trying to shit on jailers, but it's a different breed. And the fact that like he had enough time to strangle this dude with his, like, I don't know, that's a failure on the jail. So not on the fact that he had it. Not being able to key up while running is a huge deal because he's having to lose an entire hand there to activating that radio. And even if he did have it, this is another argument for weapon-mounted lights. This is nighttime. This guy's running from a well-lit area to a less lit area because this is uneven lighting. And he is now having to he does not have a weapon-mounted light, doesn't he?
You sure? I think he does.
It's under there.
It's hard to tell. Yeah, he has one.
Yeah, he's got one under there. So, to positively identify what you're pointing said gun at now, I think a weapon-mounted light makes a ton of sense here. I understand the arguments for people that say,
especially with that backdrop, dude.
Yeah,
you're in the front of a hotel. There's cars. Yeah. There's a street. Like,
so
heartburn.
You to key up on your radio, and if you're still pointing the gun at, you're going to lose your light. Having comms here helps a ton, and then having a weapon-mounted light. Anytime you could add a feature to something that's not inhibiting the reliability thing, do it.
Yeah.
I think it's anyone that argues against it's an idiot. This is pretty recent. Police post, shout out.
Yeah. Check the chat before we move on.
No, we're good. We're good. We're just welcoming Boom to the chat.
Perfect.
Bro, LAPD's in this
Flag
again.
down. Flag down by a community member.
Over here. I don't know what's wrong, officer, please. Please, officer, please. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know
Another
what's wrong.
time. Get a.
Please, park and at the park. Just off of it.
Please, officer, please.
What? Hey, what's that street right there? What's the street?
Let's go park. Let's go park. It's not all this time.
Echo Park at Bellevue. Echo Park at Bellevue.
Hey, bro, are you gonna put this kid on the ground, my dude?
Echo Park at Bellevue, please. Officer, please, officer, please. Please. What's going on? I don't know, baby, I don't know. She was in the car with me. I don't know what's wrong. Please, she's
probably choking.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Mommy, it's okay, my love.
There you go. She's crying.
What does she have, mommy? Open.
Something came out.
What do you have, mommy? What do you have? Okay, mommy.
Yeah, get off the street.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to that guy. He eventually did the Heimlich, and they teach us this. They taught we did the whole CPR class.
Yeah.
In academy, but and I will say this: it doesn't have to take an officer or a first responder to save someone's life. That's something you can literally take a CPR class in like an hour.
And I think if you have kids, that might be worth your time.
Yeah, it might be worth your time. I will say this about like what is it? Not the OODA loop. Prefrontal cortex shutdown.
Yeah.
That dad was, and I understand it's a high stress situation. Your kid's got something bad going on. This kind of tells you how broken cops are after seeing the gajillions of critical incidents that we deal with. He was so lasered on to trying to get help, and he just kept repeating himself. Like he was clearly really amped. He never thought to himself, maybe my kid's choking.
Right. Like, oh, maybe if she was sitting in her car seat, had something in her hand, put it in her mouth because she's a child.
So shout out to call take, because they probably have to deal with this kind of stuff all the time. But notice that officer went from like kind of like, well, he's got to think, is this person approaching me to assault me? Is this it's an LAPD?
Yeah, because it was flagged down in an intersection.
You know, is this a shooting that's about to happen? Am I about to get ambushed? And he's like, it's none of those things. Is the child injured?
I will say, like,
is this a domestic?
The things that made my blood pressure skyrocket were people that would wave us down.
Oh yeah,
on the street.
Oh yeah,
because you have literally no idea what's coming.
You just don't know, and you don't get it back automatically. You're kind of there by yourself.
Yes.
And that the officer, clearly, who's quicker on getting his prefrontal cortex, or he just went through his checklist and realized, okay, I'm safe enough to do this. Was able to perform the Heimlich and save that kid's life. That kid, I'm not saying this for sure, but had he been left there with a person that's just in that stress loop thinking, I just got to get help here. I just got to get help here. Instead of trying to do something to fix the problem.
Probably would have died.
Yeah. Shout out to that officer for having the training. He was the right person at the right time with the right training to do something about it. And shout out to that guy. Just got back from training with a firearms instructor. Well, what's going on? Boom, that's awesome. He does training with California Sheriff's Department. Awesome, dude. That's great, actually. That's awesome. Any kind of training is any kind of good training is good. let me take that back. I just talked shit about Rebel Judo guy. Yeah, and Dust.
Yeah, come on. Credible training.
Vetted and accredited training from a reputable place.
Yeah.
We'll keep going. Oh, my favorite. Crash. Yes. He bottomed his car out.
Yep.
Oh, he's a puss.
Cops driving an F-150.
My guy, for real? Oh, he is.
Yeah.
There it is. My man. Waited till he had a compliant person, put him in a position of... Man, this guy's...
Look at his foot. His foot was in a good spot.
My guy.
Yeah,
bro, talk about the big dick energy. Also driving that F-150 on patrol. My guy. Street racers, I have no sympathy for. I hope you guys all split a telephone pole. Now, if you're out in the middle of nowhere racing, one thing.
Yeah.
I really do. Motorcyclists that are lane splitting, I think it's pretty cool. Having a fast car, I think is pretty cool. But when you're doing it in a densely populated area,
you're an asshole.
I hope Darwinism takes over. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to say anything too much.
I mean, it usually does.
I like watching innocent people get hurt. Watching people that, even though they're minding their own business, you wreck their car, and even with insurance, you've crippled their way of getting the job that they need to feed their kids. and then they lose their job, and now they're indigent and don't have a way to drive anywhere and can't afford to buy a new car, and they don't have the credit score for it because they had to deal with all the other financial burdens that are there, and all because you wanted to get in your stupid car or whatever and go drive and asshole. Go find somewhere in the middle of nowhere to go do it, or a racetrack. That shit really does piss me off. Anyways,
rant over.
We'll keep going.
Sir, the reason I'm stopping
Judge
you,
Williams,
Judge,
I don't. Why did you stop me?
You had your cell phone in your hand.
I had my phone like this.
Yeah.
I just lost it. I was just looking for it. Pulled it up like this. Was not on it. I just looked in the car. Go up and look.
Okay, why are you screaming at me?
Sir,
you have your license, registration, proof of insurance. You have your license, registration, proof of insurance.
I wasn't doing anything wrong.
You have your license, registration, proof of insurance.
I'm not going to give you my license registration.
You were doing something wrong. You cannot have a handheld.
I had my phone just like this. I was not on my phone. I drive by a lot of times, and y'all are on yours. You're never on yours, right?
Okay, I don't understand why you're yelling at me. You're never on yours. Why are you yelling at me, sir?
I said you're never on yours.
Why are you yelling at me?
I'm not yelling at you.
Yes, you have been.
Who's not
if you read the code says that if we're
Here.
conducting official business, you can be on it. I just don't know why you're yelling at me.
No, not on official business.
Okay. Why are you so shaky? What's going on?
I'm irritated because you pulled me over for no reason.
You had your cell phone in your hand.
I picked up my cell phone because I had it lost.
Okay. You know the law.
So what? What if I have a cup in my hand?
You know what, sir?
Bro, I tell you what, he's real brave to be reaching like that, being that confrontational.
Judge Williams. I don't care.
Yeah, shout out to Mike the Cop for posting this.
Yeah.
I hope this guy's wiener doesn't work because he's a piece of shit. Shout out to this cop for actually handling that. He didn't say appreciate that, but like verbal judo would tell you to do. He listened. He
I appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate that, but he actually exhibited some verbal judo, and he realized the guy just wants to yell for a little bit and let it out. That was who is this guy? The subject here? Like
he's a judge.
He's a judge?
He was a judge. I don't know if
he
still is.
Piece of shit, and I hope he's not a judge anymore. But I tell you what, that is the attitude a ton of people in the criminal justice system or in the government in general have towards stuff like that. The rules do not apply to them, and I think that they're shitty, and I hate them.
True.
Including cops. If you have this attitude that because you're a cop means that I shouldn't get ticketed and I shouldn't get pulled over and I shouldn't do whatever, you're a piece of shit.
Yep.
I'll say that, and I won't apologize for it. I understand this idea behind professional courtesy, whatever, but I don't believe that this is something that should be like, I could drive however the fuck I want. I'm a cop. I don't care how you feel. Unless you're on official business, my dude, you're wearing the uniform and putting your life on the line for society, knock it out. But if you're just trying to get to Denny's on time or trying to go to your OnlyFans appointment on time, go shove it where the sun don't shine. I don't have a beeper, so I can't say all the things I want to.
Beep.
Go to Patreon for
Beep.
that. I'll plug our Patreon for that. What is this? My man's in a Sprint.
In the mall.
What's everyone standing around for? He fell or what?
No, he got shot.
Oh yeah, it looks pretty bad.
Let's go. Stand up.
Come on, Chingan, my dude. What an animal. What an animal.
You're alright. You're alright. Oh, help me. Help me. Oh.
These two cops? Pieces of shit. Are you fucking kidding me?
Wow.
Are you kidding me?
Wowie.
Look at this. 2 individuals were shot. 1 was killed. Initial calls were shots fired at a mall. And you've got these 2 pieces of shit standing out here walking around doing nothing.
They're still doing nothing.
Am I gonna die? No, dude, you're okay. I promise you, you're not gonna die.
Well, you can't make that promise, but yeah, wild. Find a new job. Find a new job.
So if you're a police officer and you're showing up to a shooting in progress and you end up being by yourself and you end up having the time to not only run inside, find this guy, triage him real quick, and realize, oh, I can move this guy. Put this man on your shoulder, run out, and have to ask other officers to help you. Bro, find somewhere else to work, dude.
Like, didn't open the door, didn't help get the guy down, didn't move the guy. The other one just stood there like a statue. Like, what a piece of shit.
Oh my God, there's a shooting happening, and I have to do something about it.
If anyone knows who they are, I want you to clip this, send this to them, and tell them that I think they're pieces of shit.
Fuck you guys. So, I had to run to way sketchier calls than that.
Yeah.
I also want to take 2 seconds to say to the officer that took it upon himself to go in there and make sure those guys were okay, brought peace to it, and then had the physical presence of mind to go out there, pick that man up, and take him out. Shout out, my dude. What a badass. Yes. I love the guy.
Very true.
Shout out to you. You got that big dick energy, my man.
Clearly one of the only people on your shift that has that. So
no kid. Profess this courtesy up your peach, producer. One, fake. There was no bystander yelling, "Why you shot him?"
It's true. It was staged.
Producer Juan said he's starting to find his inner Sith.
They made that for TikTok, I bet.
They made it for TikTok, I bet.
It was just satire.
Hey, Producer Juan said he's going to find these two guys.
I hope so.
Seriously. I'll cut this clip and email it.
I'll record them a special clip.
Fuck you guys.
Fucking pieces of trash.
Chris Kaufman, it's a classic case of let the other guy do the job. Yeah, this is not my job, right? He looks like he's got it handled. Shit.
Bro, an active shooter at a mall would almost be worse than a school.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, the amount of chaos, like, how you just stand outside. Oh.
You remember four flags over Louisiana, dude?
Oh, when I worked Southside, twice at that
I didn't
mall.
Think about that. Twice. I forgot about that.
They were firecrackers, thank God.
Yeah.
But it happened twice.
Were you on duty? I think we must have been in the academy. They had a guy that had to go in there and handle business. That kid that brought a fake gun in there.
Oh, and that
was threatening
one
everybody?
Cop shot him.
Bro, was absolute like Chris Kyle about it.
And then became a sergeant later.
What a bad dude.
Shout out to that guy.
Shout out to that guy. Absolutely my hero.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So.
Defund the police from Fieldcraft Survival.
Here's some statistics.
Yeah. Defunded the police by $150 million. That's weak.
In Austin. Yeah. Well, compared to LA.
Yeah.
So Austin 150.
Oh shit, that's a lot.
Had a 50% spike. LA defunded by 175 million, had 11% spike. Bro. And then New York was defunded by $1 billion. 97% rise in shootings and a 45% rise in homicides. So that's
97%.
That's enough negativity for that
increase. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's all the illegal guns that are flowing into New York.
You know what? I think that's what it is. I think guns are the problem.
Yeah.
Guns and a lack of diversity.
Yes. Yeah.
So
this
all
is
violence there.
Oops. This is man, I don't know what to call it. But
police fitness nutrition.
Somebody made this video and it's worth watching. That's why I added it.
I'm here for it.
Countless officers lined the halls of this hallway after carrying him in and grieved for their brother. While praying with everything they have for the other.
But it is not safe, and we are in crisis.
We've been here before. We're angry because we saw it coming. We're angry because we said it was going to happen, and it happened again.
And the shit that I see every single day scares me.
I am struggling to find the words to express the tragedy we are enduring. We're mourning, and we're angry.
You know, these police officers aren't going to sleep. They're going to be out in the street. They're going to do what they need to do. The ones that go home are going to put their heads on their pillow, and they're not going to sleep.
This was not like this a year and a half ago.
And they're going to cry. Well, it's time the city cried with us, and we know they are.
The NYPD, New York City, all of us. As I stand here in Harlem Hospital tonight, a New York City police officer has lost his life.
And I've been a cop in this city for 15 years. Something needs to be done.
Murdered. And another one is fighting for his life to survive. The pain their families are experiencing is not something anyone can put into words.
What's happening right now is not it. The citizens of this city do not deserve this. We as cops who work here and protect the citizens of this city do not deserve this.
But you know what? We stand shoulder to shoulder by the tens of thousands to shoulder our brother. We carried our brother here. We'll shoulder him out this evening. We'll stand in the hallway and we'll pray for a family that's hoping their son, their husband, they come home.
Nobody is thinking about the victims of these crimes and what they go through and what they have to live with every single day, except us, who protect them and have to deal with it too and help them through it.
3 officers who arrived at that scene were doing their job.
We need help, and you need to help us.
They came to answer a call for service, what countless officers do every single day. They were listening to a mother who called needing help for her son. And as the officers were compassionately trying to provide aid to a 47-year-old man, he suddenly, without warning, opened fire on them. In a moment, a young 22-year-old life was ended, and another forever altered. Our department is hurting. Our city is hurting. It is beyond comprehension. I am not sure what words, if any, will carry the weight of this moment and what we are feeling. We have 4 times this month rushed to the scene of NYPD officers shot by violent criminals in possession of deadly, illegal guns. 4 officers, 5 officers shot. 1 fighting for his life in 4 incidents. And now tonight, 1 is dead. Our detectives will work to piece this together, but as they do that, every NYPD officer will once again place a black mourning band across their shield. I ask you to please pray for them. We had the privilege to pray with this family. I ask you to pray for them too. Please pray for our officer that lies in his hospital bed fighting for his life. And every single day appreciate the valor and sacrifice of the men and women of the NYPD.
Let me see, how do I unpack this for my civilian audience? We'll say that. I think
everybody can feel
Yeah.
what that video puts out.
So, like, I remember, and so we hit the streets in 2018, I think.
Yeah, early 2018.
Early 2018 is when we hit the streets, right? And you know, I was a young idiot, and we drove around and we stopped cars or whatever. And every once in a while, we would keep up with. They had like a post. And they would show when followed officers what happened, and a lot of times, like, you know, pursuits end bad and stuff like that, and the normal gang violence nonsense or whatever. But I remember the first time we had one pretty close to North Texas, and we put on, it's like a little thin. I didn't have one. I remember being embarrassed about this, so I took electrical tape. It was black electrical tape, and I wrapped it around my badge. And the idea behind it is, as long as they're still basically above ground and dead, that you keep that on your badge. And then once they're buried, you take it off. And it's how you mourn and respect, you know, fallen officers. And post 2020, I had gone to. I used to keep one around my taser. And it was like a little elastic one around my taser, and it just stayed on my badge after a while. And I don't remember what the number was. It was something wild. It was like 400, 500 officers that died that year. It was daily. And if police posts, shout out to those guys, Mike the Cop. There's a lot of these good social media pages that would cover every single time, and oftentimes it was like a spreadsheet like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, yeah, today, we lost 6. And it's like we almost got desensitized to it. It happened so often. And I stopped like keeping track of when I was supposed to take it on and off, because I was like, well, one of us is going to die, so it's whatever. I'm just going to leave it on there. The society that is allowed to enjoy the privileges that the country provides, this country specifically, there's a lot of people that give stuff up for that. That there's employees, there's workers, there's service members, there's stuff like that, to then turn around and go say, you know what, but fuck it, I'm going to kill these cops. Like it's such a strange, the most like dystopian movie to participate in. And again, during 2020, we're sitting in riots, and again, we're thinking we're about to all get myocarditis from we can't prevent ourselves from catching because we're stuck. We can't work. There's officers dying at a super alarming rate from violent deaths like this. Retired or not, or whatever. They're getting their homes torched and all this kind of crazy shit. Like, their officers today, those fallen officers still thought it was worth dying for you guys. That's what that fucking blows my mind, how badass those people were and still are to this day. I can't. There will be officers. The officers are not done dying this year. That's weird. From
still January.
There are people. There are probably rookies right now in academy that are like all jonesed about doing the job, having no idea that they're going to die in some shitty crack house somewhere, and there's going to be Facebook groups like cheering for it. It's the most mind fucky thing. Like, like when people are like, wow, that cop is so callous, or that cop's so whatever. Like, really wrap your head around that. Like, it's one thing when you're like in the military and you go out and like you're tasked with something and you're fighting like Al Qaeda or something like that. You're like, okay, I get it. These people don't like me, right? I'm going to a foreign country. There's some politics around everything that's going on. But, like, these guys were going because, like, and again, in this instance, it's the Deca domestic. There's somebody that's scared for their life, and they can't ask anyone else for help but police. They feel like it's the best possibility they have for safety. And these guys go, fucking, lying in their heart, and they're going out there, I'm going to go save this lady, or maybe they were annoyed when they were going. It doesn't matter what they were doing, but they went because somebody needed help, and then they get just absolutely murdered. And for what? Like, I don't know. We started off saying this. I came full circle on this. I still struggle with this to this day because I feel a real rage when I see stuff like that, and it makes it like creates a prejudice in my mind as to why I can't stand people, specifically like ignorant people, because they do shit like this.
Yep.
And they think it's super justifiable, and they can't possibly see, I went through training and experience, and I can call people by the right pronouns, and I can understand people where they're at, and I have the empathy and the capacity to sit there and understand why people might not like XYZ reasons. I can sit there and watch other officers do the job and criticize what they're doing, or get pissed off when they're doing the job poorly, and can feel bad for people that are in shitty circumstances and are suffering, to the point where I was, for a good chunk of my life, motivated enough to go do something about it. And then every once in a while, they fucking pissed me off, and it was very common. It was super common for like 2 years that this happened every day.
Yeah.
And so when you ask yourself, like, why these are super desensitized and super, like, almost alien, and why I to this day make a bifurcation between me and people with the experience that I have, and Bill and the men and women that still do the job or did the job. We're not like you. There is a difference, because you have, as much as people talk about being persecuted or about, like, experiencing a systemic bigoted perspective, you have no idea what it's like. You have no idea what it's like.
You can miss me with that.
To think you're doing something right, to try to make the world a better place, and like to click on Facebook and watch like half of your friends talk about like, yeah, I hope cops die today. I had people, like legitimate like people that I used to think really well of, that like were like, yeah, that cop died because he was doing something stupid. Why was he stopping them from protesting? Or why couldn't he have found a different way of taking that person? Because you can't be mad about this guy. I'm like, yeah, I can be. It was the most and then to watch like the news talk about it that way. It is the most mind-fucky thing ever that I think I hope no one else has to experience that. I hope we collectively as a society can grow past that. But like, why we get salty about certain things and why we have the perspective, really watch that video again and think about it. Really think about that. Or you know what? Just Google ACAB and like think about it. Like watch those two things right next. Very weird. It's a weird space to live in. It's a very weird headspace. So, anyways, before I get too far off into that, because I get super fucking pissed off about it. Do you have anything to add before I go into the comments?
No, dude. Just watch that video. Like,
anyways,
I'm not gonna say anything better than that video just showed.
Yeah,
and the cop in it, like,
yeah,
you have cops out there doing this job, begging for help, and they're not getting it. So it just pisses me off. So.
Probably the laser guided death bullets. Oh, he's talking about the illegal guns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Philly is probably skyrocketing too. I bet Philly's getting absolutely shit on right. NRA instructors be like, wow, let's see it.
To go, all you have to do is lock it, and it shoots a bullet into it. This is where the magazine goes in. So if you hit that button, it comes out, so you can see. And you can see here, in that hole down there, there's no bullet in it, so that means that it's safe. So, hit that in. Just want to make sure there's no bullet in it. There's not. So
there's got to be parity.
The safety's on. They're ready to go. All you have to do is...
I don't think so, dude.
This has got to be parity, dude.
Also, peep the department name.
It's
probably in Virginia, but
I'm guessing it's Virginia, but oh god.
I like this comment. Also, Knockout Lights is an amazing follow for pew pew stuff.
Shout out to Knockout Lights for the church pews.
Yeah,
on a positive
like
note.
Amazing follow. I'm just saying, but yeah.
Friend of yours, producer Juan, already cracking jokes.
Not a friend, but definitely a colleague. former colleague. Sorry.
I will say this.
Different state. Sorry.
How many times we had a room clearing class one time, and we're in academy, right? And we have like 13-year SWAT dudes, 20-year SWAT guys, dudes that were like door kicking for Green Berets. We was like bad dudes, right?
Yeah.
So we're going from like section to section, and they have different instructors for each section, and they're teaching a different like skill on room clearing. I had John in my group just so Gil can know how bad this was. So I have John with me. This guy was a ranger. Who was what? I don't remember.
Yeah, he was airborne for sure.
Yeah,
I think he was a ranger.
He was a ranger. So
he was a medic. He was a legit combat medic that was with a ranger battalion. So
he was way cooler than I would have ever been for the rest of my life, right?
He was the coolest guy that was
So
here.
he's in my group, and I'm with him, and then I don't remember who else was with me. A guy that had former, and then somebody else. Then there's me.
Which former?
Fuck.
Dallas or San Angelo?
San Angelo,
Okay.
not Dallas. No,
Okay.
San Angelo.
Okay.
So anyways, we're going from group to group. We're all very impressed with the training we're getting. We're like, oh, this is really good. And I kept looking at John, and John kept being like, yeah, this is spot on. This is spot on. So then we get to this stupid fucking lady, literally the meme that this lady is here. And we start we start the exercise, and this lady kept stopping us.
Oh, no.
And she's like, no, you can't do that. So there's a position called the Sewell position. And you can Google what the Sewell position is. But basically, if I have to face someone else, like I can't avoid facing them, safe way of taking your barrel away from pointing it at people, right? And it leaves it in a quick ergonomic position to point the gun back out. And she got a lot of heartburn about this whole Sewell position thing. And
was she a sergeant?
She was a sergeant, yes.
Okay.
She was a newly appointed sergeant
Yep.
that happened to be really good friends with one of these SWAT people, but not a SWAT person herself. So she's on patrol for like 5 whole seconds. I don't remember if she was a detective for a little while, but she then was like not on patrol. Never took any like higher than academy training for room clearing. And she's lecturing my whole group, which includes Mr. I jump out of airplanes and, you know, fight terrorists with guns. And
was the most trained person in the room at the time.
100%. I would even argue he probably represented better training than some of the SWAT officers were working with.
That's what I'm saying. Like, in the building at the time, John had the best training.
100%. Oh, 100%. Yeah. And so he, I can see it on his face, he knows better than to sit there and bitch at this lady because he came from the military and he knows it is what it is. She's a sergeant. Crews. Yeah. We're not even cops at this point.
Yeah.
But he's having real heartburn on this. But I'm the dumbass that's like, that doesn't make any sense. And so John looks at me like, oh shit, fucking Silva, right? Like, you know, he's gonna go say something stupid. I was like, I've seen plenty of people use Sewell. and we get in trouble for it. So of course we get in trouble, we get bitched at or whatever, and then we finally go and Corporal, who's there over it, he's like, what the fuck? Like, why are you getting people pissed off? And John pleads the case, and this is how badass we all knew John was. My corporal was like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, she's just a dumb bitch. We just have to put up with it.
It's true.
It literally, it is what it is, but there are people, I shit you not, that are instructing officers on how to do the job that are that fucking stupid.
It is what it is.
Oh, my goodness. Is it like the Kama Sutra? Yes, it's exactly like the Kama Sutra.
Yeah.
The position.
Yes,
just Google Kama Sutra Sewell, and you will find it. Yes. Boom, laughing. Yeah. Anyways, that's completely accurate. Also, the NRA currently under investigation for like a ton of fraud. Apparently, like the CEO of that embezzled like buttloads of money.
Did he buy a few mansions with it? Because that seems to be like the going thing to do.
That's the trend. That's the trend. He definitely followed that trend of buying. He had like it was really scandalous. He had like an assistant that he was paying like $300,000 a year.
Oh.
Of like NRA people funds. I've never contributed to it.
Me either.
It was like part of me always knew it was a little bit of like snake oil, and here it is, embezzling money. I already knew it. I trusted my spidey sense, but yeah.
Holy fuck, police chase. Holy shit.
Oh, I like this guy's Pookie and the boys draw here. Holy shit.
Limp ass wrist.
Yeah. And he had a Porsche. Oh, my guy.
Have fun with that.
Holy fuck.
Hey, waited for another officer. My guy.
Oh, it's a Mercedes.
Oh, okay.
Still, doesn't matter.
Still crazy expensive.
Crazy expensive. So you think that was old boy's first time getting arrested, since he knew exactly to lay out on the ground with his arms out?
Holy shit.
I think he's what you'd call experienced. We'll just say that. That's hilarious. That are just, I mean, smart. I mean, this could have ended a lot worse, obviously, but hey, shout out to everybody. If you want to joyride in a very expensive Mercedes and decide to wreck it out, that is exactly how you do it, my guy.
Yeah.
Have fun with it. Fuck it. You're going to prison anyways. Knock it out. Have some. Well, actually, it depends on where it happens. You're probably getting out on bail anyway. So
probably.
Shout out. That green wrap, though, I agree. That was a pretty.
It was
loud
nice.
car.
Yeah, it was nice.
It was a pretty loud car. That guy is living life. And bro, R.I.P. to. You know what? That first officer had the exact same instructor as this video. When you get out, make sure you cannot see down your sights and just indiscriminately aim your firearm in the general.
This works, right? This is deadly cover. Yeah.
I tell you what,
I'm done.
I was lucky enough to have senior officers that my ass for less than that, and I was very thankful for that. because there's sometimes you don't realize you're doing dumb stuff because you're a civilian parading around in a costume when you first get out of field training, to be honest, or when you first get into field training. You're not, for all the training that you do have, like a relatively qualified civilian. You're not. It takes a while to become like an actual cop.
Well, a good while, yeah.
GTA. Oh, also Jacob, welcome, my guy. I appreciate you showing up. He was the our door kicker.
Yes.
On shout out. You guys go watch that live stream. The live stream blast.
That was awesome.
Jacob definitely got me a few times with pucker stuff, but he was the bravest of the bunch.
Not only did he get you to pucker, he also killed you with a battering ram.
Kill me with a battering ram. So. It was incredible. He's always a blast. And he murdered you. Hey, but I have forgiveness in my.
That's good.
I have forgiveness in my heart.
I'm glad. This is for your comment earlier about motorcycles and.
Wow. That motorcyclist appearing to
is she
stand
laughing?
up there on the motorcycle there for a second. But
oops!
Oh my gosh! Oh. We have just seen. We just saw that motorcyclist crash into a car there.
Is she stifling a laugh?
Yes.
Police pursuit.
Bro.
LAPD was after that motorcyclist.
Look, she's still smiling.
The motorcyclist is going
so,
very high
and I will say this.
as we just saw it.
I believe that people should be able to appreciate their recreational sport of driving things fast in safe, remote areas. I'm all for it. Really, I am. I think it's cool. My dad used to build cars, and he used to do drag racing stuff. It's super cool, but he found like a semi-responsible way of doing it. I get it. For someone that
there's ways to do it.
Well, and again, I got paid to get in a car and drive fast and do stupid stuff. It was a blast. That being said, I had to do it recorded where I had cops watch it afterwards and decide, and I did get written up.
Yeah. You did.
Wow, Sean, it took you a while to get back into this chat, but he said my wife laughed like that just a few minutes ago. Hey, you were doing pretty well if it was a few minutes ago. Pretty good, my guy. High five to Sean. Go ahead and put a thumbs up to Sean for doing the business. I respect it.
Wow, I have so many comments that I'm just going to keep to myself.
So, anyways, I don't feel bad for that guy. That's pretty good for running a highly populated area. I just hope he didn't hurt anybody else, because a motorcycle hitting a car, if it goes through the windshield or something like that, could hurt those people. And like I said before, just because you decided to be a jackass and drive your car or drive your motorcycle like that, if you nailed somebody's car that like is relatively poor and ruin their car, and now they can't afford a new one, and now they're probably going to lose their job, like fuck you for that.
Yeah.
Anyways, eggplant in the chat for Sean. Hey,
hell yeah,
producer Juan, shout out. I like it. Street cop training. More like F in the chat for my one.
Driver and passenger out of a vehicle on a traffic.
Sorry, I'm laughing about
handcuffs,
this. The thumbs
bro.
up's yeah.
I just can't.
They really are handcuffs.
That sure what they look like.
Without any reasonable suspicion? The answer is no, they don't. See, in 1977, there was a U.S. Supreme Court case called Pennsylvania v. Mims. And in that case, they said that police could order a driver out of a vehicle anytime during the course of a traffic stop, namely for safety reasons. 20 years later, a U.S. Supreme Court case called Maryland v. Wilson comes out, and they held the Mims test.
I don't know about that music, so we're just going to look at the subtitles. Yeah, so he's basically going over
Pennsylvania versus Mims. So I will say this,
and the Fourth Amendment, but
the easiest way that I always tell people to think about what an officer can and cannot do is if they can articulate a detention of any kind, whether it's a traffic stop or an investigative stop. So they say like, hey, there was a shooting down the street. You match the description of this person.
Yeah,
they have now established reasonable suspicion that crime is afoot. Effectively, they can do anything for the sake of safety, almost. Now, whether or not their actions are going to hold up to actually taking a charge, that's up for debate. It's the whole point of the court system. That being said, like now, if they say "cause I said so," fuck them. Go be your ornery self.
Not going to work.
Go be your first person you want. If they say "cause I said so," you flip them off and do whatever. That being said, if they articulate what sounds like a criminal offense. Yeah, they pretty much own that place for everything. I'll put an F in the chat for Sean's wife. Here it is. That's hilarious. Anyways, we'll keep going.
You have one in the trunk?
There's one right there. That's what broke. There's
Hold
one
on.
on this
It
side.
broke?
It's up.
Bro.
Can we try to... Let's...
Where's fire when you need him?
Pull him out. If we can.
Right here?
Second responding.
See if you can pull him. Pull him out. Pull him out. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Don't skip leg days, boys and girls.
7 Baker 34. We got.
Bro, I'm impressed.
That's incredible.
2 cops.
Hey, man.
Lifted that thing enough to get that guy out. That's impressive.
Hey, man, I'm about it. You know what? You can go ahead and 22 fire. I just need to get this. Fucking stay at the station, you losers. Shout out to those cops. Thank you for saving that guy's life.
Yeah.
They were able to get it up just like Sean. They only had to do it for a few seconds though.
So Jesus.
Shout out to police posts.
So they put it here in 8 different languages.
Oh, I just read the top one. Tell me this is not what I think it is.
For pretty much anyone who's reading this, stop holding on to cars.
No. No. It's slow enough. He can let go. Come on, it's slow enough. Come on. Maybe he's stuck.
So that was Mike the Cop's comment. He said, is he trapped or is he just holding on? And no one's been able to answer it yet. But
tell you what, his boots are holding up pretty well here.
But look at how much faster they're going now.
Okay, now you're breaking a leg. Oh, yeah, now you're breaking a leg.
Moving, dude. Look at this. Slow down a little, but...
Yeah, no, it's... So, and here's an interesting cat. Producer Juan says, hey, that looks badass. If this guy was going to try to articulate deadly force in this vehicle, I think he goes to jail.
Yeah, dude.
Because, like,
Come on.
The second you grab that car, you're kind of consenting to the ride. To be honest, in my personal opinion. And then, like, from a tactics standpoint, you're not Billy Badass lifting behind the Civic off the guy. Like, or there was that one officer that pushed up that truck with one hand on that table.
Different.
That guy's
different.
Now, if you got that kind of big dick energy, knock it out. Go grab all the cars you want.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Don't grab car. Oh, there was an officer in our department that ended up using deadly force because they took off with him on it, and he was looking at charges. He was let go within weeks.
Yeah, it's not looking great for him.
It's not looking great, and it shouldn't because, like I said,
it's stupid. That whole thing was stupid, though. There was more than just than just his fault. Yeah.
There was layers of dumb on that.
Yeah.
So, do not. Hey, producer Juan, put it in Spanish for us. Do not hold on to cars.
Yeah.
No toque el carro or whatever.
Here's
don't
this,
hold on to it.
This fun video.
Lived in here? Yep. Where at?
Oh, this one.
Whereabouts?
11th and Pine. I just told you.
Turning on his body cam.
Is there a reason you're following me, officer?
Oh, I'm not following you. I'm walking with you.
Okay, well, I'm going to walk a different direction then, officer.
No problem. So here's the deal.
See, the thing is, you're following me still,
So
officer.
here's the deal. I'm not following you, and I'm going to explain it very clearly. You're going to hold and stop for me.
Okay. Is this an illegal stop, officer?
He's detained.
No, this is a legal stop.
Okay.
You told me you live at 11 Pine. I didn't even know where you live.
11th and Pine is right there.
Okay.
There's only one apartment building
Do you
here,
have
officer.
ID on you that shows me that?
Well, the funny thing about ID, officer, is that 2 days ago, on July 1st at 7 p.m., the mayor's office directed all of your department to cease asking for ID from residents here.
We just got reordered again this morning, so...
Well, that seems like it's an illegal thing, because the thing about...
I'm explaining to you it's not.
Well,
so
the
we
thing,
can either have
officer,
a diatribe out there...
Officer, please...
Or I can walk you with ID to your location...
Officer, the thing is that I don't have
can arrest
ID.
you for being in here illegally. What would you rather?
I do not have ID, officer.
Pause it.
So you have a key. You have a key to your apartment?
Of course I have a key to...
So I have a story time that's similar to this, which was way more However, this is where policing gets into a really weird gray area. Like a very, very weird. So this sounds like they have a specific ordinance that they've lifted or an emergency decree or some crap or whatever to prevent ingress and egress from this area unless that person's a resident. I had something similar happen when my parents' house got hit by a tornado. They would prevent, because it was a disaster area, they would declare it a disaster area. They had law enforcement prevent ingress and egress unless you had an ID that should live there. They could prevent looting, right? Where's this at?
Seattle.
Do we know? Is it so? Well, yeah, but there probably are disaster zones in
Well,
Seattle.
you can look at every window on the street is blown out.
Probably broke.
There's plywood on everything. There's graffiti all over the place.
So I can kind of see. I can kind of see the function of an emergency order like that, or like a city ordinance that's created to protect certain areas from vandals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That being said, like, what state law is this guy like enforcing right now? Like, let's say he uses force here and this goes to court. Like, is your argument really going to be that a city ordinance? I'm with you that these officers are being tasked with it. They don't really have a choice. You don't. If you want to keep your job with the city,
exactly. It's going to be, you're going to do this, and if we find out you're not, you're going to get written up enough to where you're fired. I mean,
and you get fired and you lose all the benefits.
Yeah.
You lose everything.
Yeah.
You don't get a pension. You don't get none of that.
Yeah.
And you'll get like a dishonorable discharge and all that. It's pretty bad. It's bad news bears. It makes you unhireable pretty much anywhere else, and it's not good. I understand where this guy's coming from, because in any other context, fuck these guys. In any other context, I mean that.
Yeah.
No one's just going to stop you and say, "Hey, you need to give me your ID because I said so, because I need to verify where you live." That's not an offense. However, and it makes sense specifically in Seattle or in an instance like this where there is a city ordinance that's designed to try to prevent. Typically, these are only temporary. I don't believe in people getting to a city willy-nilly getting to laws that they now can use force to. The Constitution exists for a reason, so the libertarian in me kind of beats his chest and says, well, no, fuck that, the Constitution. That being said, if these buildings are being looted, if there's a chronic issue with these things happening, I understand the short-term necessity for that. And as a resident of that area, I wouldn't care.
And that's like my issue with this guy's response.
Yeah.
Like, so they're literally there protecting your home.
Yeah.
And you just want to make a TikTok video. Like,
well, and I will say this. I think that the environment that's been created by that city has led to this.
157%.
They decided, again, and we talked about this earlier, about how awesome 2021 or 2020 was for being a cop, but that they have created such a contentious relationship between law enforcement and the public that it's so hard to navigate issues like this. And then also, and this goes to a deeper meaning issue here, they've created an entire population that is basically transient within their city. Even somebody that lives. This guy totally has an ID, which is total bullshit that he doesn't have one. But that being said, he doesn't care enough about the community that he lives in to want some sort of protection. Let's say there are cars getting broken into and stuff like that, so it's so bad of a situation that they need to be checking to make sure everybody's there. That's pretty shitty. Or it's so bad that they can't trust. They believe that they cannot trust law enforcement. It's the whole reason why community policing talks about the concept of it, talks about this, but it's like everyone from the citizens to the police to the city manager's office to command staff to the emergency services to Encore, ERCOT, I'm looking at you, need to care equally about the success and the welfare of these communities. If not, this is what happens. So either these officers are stuck in a situation where they're having to use force or not use force to deal with some bullshit that probably shouldn't be a law in the first place, only because you have a criminal element. That's, again, why we can't have nice things, because people are assholes.
Exactly.
It all comes back to that like, I guarantee you in this city, you have a situation where this guy can go shoplift, beat the hell out of the cashier babe, which effectively get out the very next day and do it. So there are consequences to all of these concepts that people like to talk about or academically discuss. When placed into reality and thrown through the filter of being exposed to assholes, it just simply doesn't work, and this is the kind of dysfunction you end up having. I don't think force gets used here. I think the guy ends up walking.
To my apartment.
I will walk you that direction.
I would really prefer to not be escorted by armed men.
You don't have a choice. Here's the deal. You either leave right now, be arrested, or I will walk you to your location. What is your choice?
What's your badge off? What's your badge?
7443.
And
What
your
is
name?
your choice,
He gave
sir?
it.
And your name?
Officer Pinkerton.
How
And
about
he
you,
gave
bro?
it.
6788. I'm Detective Little.
Cool.
He gave it. Look at that.
Which would you prefer?
I'm not going to get arrested, so
Yeah.
I am going to go back. However, I do live here, so how am I supposed to get back in?
I just explained to you.
just offered
I'm
Here's the thing,
very
though.
happy to escort you.
I am scared of you, and I am not going to allow you
don't
to walk
appear
with
to be
me.
scared of me when you came up towards me and were around me and want to stand right here.
Well, I had no
recording.
choice about it, bud.
You have a choice right now.
Oh, should I be scared? So scared that I shouldn't
Right.
have to record you?
We didn't say
One more time.
recording us, man.
3 options. Leave, be arrested, or I'm more than happy to escort
Where
you
am
to
I
your
supposed to go?
location.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Okay.
God, did you see that street? Man,
Yeah.
after he panned,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. So I also kind of want to point out the amount of foot traffic that's not occurring in
Yeah,
that place.
look at
Every
that.
singo one of those businesses is a wash.
Well, and look, they shut the street down. Like, he had to
Yeah.
have walked by patrol cars.
Yeah.
He had to have known what was like.
This
I
happens all
just,
the time.
it annoys
yeah.
me because you're out here looking for a video clip just like this.
Yeah, and I'll say this: having a little bit of context for this, I think the officers actually handled it. They have a task they're given, and honestly, if I was watching my area fall to shit, I would care and I would want to be there, even though it was uncomfortable. I would try to go there because I have citizens there relying on me. If you live right now, let's say you are renting an apartment right now in a relatively populated area. You rely so much on law enforcement that you have no idea. Like, I can't, like, what, 85% of our 911 calls
Easily.
probably come into apartment complexes.
Easily.
And you have people there that they have BMWs and they have nice jobs. They work for, they have 401ks and stuff like that. Bro, your neighbors are getting wild and out.
Yes.
And oftentimes the problem turns into this like weird. There's a concept of broken glass theories, which I don't fully subscribe to, but there is some merit to the idea that as societal decay persists, it just continues to get worse. The violence gets worse. The lack of give a damn gets worse. People litter more. People steal more. People feel like because there's no consequences to anything, you just do whatever the hell you want. This is like weird, like hedonistic circle of not giving a fuck and victimizing people. It's really kind of shitty. I watched it happen firsthand in a handful of pockets in our city. And specifically the last like year and a half, Bill and I were on the street together. We knew exactly, him and I could draw a picture of exactly what those places looked like and where they were. And everyone felt the consequences of that. Even if you were minding your own business, paying your bills, doing everything, people were breaking into your car. You didn't feel safe enough to go walk your dog. We had people that would wait till they saw police to go walk their dog. Yeah. It was bad. And it's the nature of the beast. Or you live ignorant and just hope you don't get victimized. So it is what it is.
So here's our last one. I found this down a rabbit hole on YouTube last night. So this is from, it was a rally, like a cross-country rally.
Yeah.
You know how they do those crazy supercar rallies. So these guys got stopped in Kentucky, and I want you to listen to what these guys get tickets for. It is so ridiculous.
We'll get off at exit 58. All right.
Okay, here's your paperwork, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're being cited for failure to give right away to stop an emergency vehicle. Okay, you approached within the block of a stop.
So they were driving. This cop pulled their friend over. They were in the left lane. They moved over to the middle lane, and then they moved over to the right lane, and then they pulled onto the shoulder, probably 300 yards ahead of this cop, and he wrote them for failure to stop within a block, or you approached within a block of a stopped emergency vehicle.
Emergency vehicle without being told to do so, okay? For no apparent reason. No emergency, nothing else. You're also
What?
Being, cited for obstructed vision and/or windshield for your non-transparent stickers on the front.
So they have stickers on the windshield for the rally. They got cited for that as well. It gets better, dude. It gets better.
Show up at the LaRue District Court, Hodgenville, Kentucky, the 14th of next month at 9 a.m.
But I'm out of the place. I can just pay the fine.
Look at the phone number on the back.
I can't just pay the fine?
I'm sorry?
I can't just pay the fine?
There is no fine for that charge, okay? When I'm explaining it to you.
I was actually in the middle lane when I crossed you, and then I pulled
We
over.
have it on video as well.
We have it on video, and my dash cam's running.
That's fine. You can't stop here.
You can't pull over to the
You
side of the
can.
road.
Oh, this is cancer. Oh, this is cancer.
Hey, does this cop remind you of anyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
I already know who you're talking about.
Wait until you see what the passenger gets a ticket for.
Right there. Yeah, you can call that phone number and see if the clerks can maybe make that a payable fine, but I can't. Okay?
So what are you being ticketed for then?
I'd take the warrant at that point.
Especially if it's in Kentucky.
I have a question. What does he do with this if he has no fine?
Because, like, what if I can't make
A summons has to have a penalty.
Okay. Then you can call that phone number and see if they can get you a different date or something.
No.
Or make it a payable fine. All right?
Oh, here comes my ticket.
Bro, get ready for this. This blew my mind.
Okay, here's your ID, sir.
Appreciate it.
Okay, you're being cited for hitchhiking, okay?
Hitchhiking?
Yes,
Fuck right
That's
off.
what the statute's called, okay? I know you wasn't
Okay,
Fuck.
listen.
Wait.
walking on limited access highway. You can call that phone number and see if they can get you a different
I'm going to
date
back
or
it up and show you what he did to get this ticket.
or make it a payable fine. All right?
Oh, here comes my ticket.
Producer Juan says bored troopers. No fucking kidding, dude.
Okay, here's your ID, sir.
Appreciate it.
Okay, you're being cited for hitchhiking, okay?
Hitchhiking?
Yes,
You're
sir.
kidding.
That's what the statute's called, okay? I know you wasn't hitchhiking, but you're walking on limited access
Pause.
highway for no apparent reason.
So, listen. They pulled over 20 cars from this rally, wrote them all tickets for the windshield stickers. They had stickers like sponsor stickers on the top of their windshield.
Sure.
Like where you know how my truck is tinted, like the top 4 inches is tinted?
Yeah.
That was just a sticker.
Well, you can imagine registration in Texas has a fucking sticker on the windshield.
No, so it's because the sticker was like on the top, like, and they're saying it was non-see-through. That 20 cars got that citation in this rally. So he, let me see where it is. We don't need all this. But
He cited him for hitchhiking. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. And he even said, he verbally said,
so he
I know
said,
you weren't hitchhiking, but that's what I'm ticking you for?
Well, he said that's what the statute is called, and that's what they give people who, like, walk on the highway.
What if you got to repair your car?
Here we go. Watch this.
There we go.
So they pulled over because their friend got pulled over in like it's like a Pagani. It's like a $700,000 car, dude. So he gets out.
Producer Juan says this is the bake sale version of or the trooper edition of a.
Look how far away he is.
Good. He's got to zoom in. It's pretty far. 1, 2, 3, 4. That was 5 seconds of this man accelerating in a patrol car.
So
It was a trooper car, so it's probably got the Hemi.
That's as far as he got. He got to like the back bumper, and then the officer came up and started just yelling.
And that's on
at
the
him.
and that's on the shoulder.
Yeah. So because he walked from his passenger door to the
back of the car.
Yes, he got a hitchhiking ticket for walking on a controlled access.
What does this
highway.
guy do? What does this guy do? Play it real quick. I just want to see what it says.
So I put my hands up to show I had no weapon. I said hi. Then the officer cut me off. He yelled at me, "Give me your license."
No. For what?
I asked him what for, and he said you're not allowed to stand in the emergency lane for no reason. The finger pointing. Told him to stop, check on that back car, which he said wasn't a reason. Told me to get my license. Yeah, so
I can't even wrap my head around.
So this channel has like a ton of videos of like they call it their best cop moments. 9 out of 10 police officers are super cool with these guys. Like, they get pulled over and they're like, hey, we've got like 30 complaints about you guys speeding. Obviously, you're in Lamborghinis and Ferraris and Audi R8s and like...
And the guy didn't even argue about it. He's like, can I just pay the fine?
Yeah.
It's literally what his response wasn't, F you, it's not for any reason.
Yeah, I wanted you to see that too, because he zooms in on the ticket.
Obviously, the thing you ticketed us for, we're part of the same thing. And the other 20 people that your department has stopped today, you know, we're all part of that. So there was a reason for it. So that's really
what's the
unwarranted.
reason?
Well, the reason, I just wanted to make sure he's okay. That's
I didn't want to get pulled over at the next stop.
That way, you know,
because
officer.
A bunch of our friends got pulled over.
Officer.
Yeah, he's fine. Well, you're set up for a court date as well, okay?
I got you.
Same date.
I just wanted to finish what I was saying.
At 9 a.m.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to listen to you.
That's a $700,000 car, and things break on them. So we were just making sure they were okay. And you were giving me a ticket for something that I wasn't even doing, and you have now said on camera that we didn't do.
Well, that's the name of the statute, okay? But when you read the statute, it says no walking.
No walking. Okay.
Okay.
Great. That's
right.
bull. Thank you very much.
Right.
Have a good one.
You too.
You too.
What a...
He's going to zoom in on the ticket.
You're not allowed to walk, Randy. You can't walk.
How much was your ticket?
Oh, I didn't even check. Let me look.
No, there's no fine on it.
I need to see this.
Not prepayable. So let me get this straight.
You have to come to Kentucky.
Oh, you son of a...
I'd take the warrant.
Not prepayable, dude. How fucked up is that?
I'm gonna say this, and I won't apologize for it. Maybe I'll get some hate, whatever, for this. Bro, you're the reason why cops die. I'm gonna be honest with you. You're literally I hope you know that you cannot wash your hands enough to get the blood of officers off of them. Legitimately, I would go as far as saying that your fucking ego is just as toxic and contributes just as much to this shitty, relationship that law enforcement has with the public as these politicians that I spend half of this thing complaining about. Dude. You literally took like the admin mentality and applied it to civilians in a way that makes no fucking sense. I understand pedestrian or roadway. I've literally made the joke. I would have totally arrested that guy for a pedestrian on the roadway. In that context, these guys are driving a fucking patrol car, minding their own business. And this guy runs out into the street, which, if he was doing that to notify officers that there was a legitimate emergency, I have the guy that had his kid choking.
Yeah.
No problem with that. You didn't hear me saying pedestrian or roadway.
Yeah.
Like, could
technically
you
could have wrote him up.
That citation 110%? You totally could. But you got to think about how this affects the overall safety of people. This guy's standing in the shoulder.
So petty.
It's literally marked for people to stand on if their vehicle breaks down because they don't want you stopping in the lane,
Right.
And you don't even have a stop on the oh no, he articulates some bullshit stop that he has.
So the funny thing is, like when you watch the video, it took him 45 minutes to get those 2 tickets written. He was in there.
Well, he was looking up what he could get to fix.
And he was in their crime codes.
Yeah.
Trying to find something. Like,
this legitimately made me more mad than the lady.
Yeah.
Legitimately made me more mad.
But it's funny because it's like...
We knew an officer like that.
There's
a real piece of shit.
An hour and a half of video, and this is the only shitty cop. all the other cops were like what you would expect and want to see cops act like.
And it's like, I don't even care if he's rude. I don't even care if he just went out of his way to stop these. Say he could articulate the stop.
Yeah.
But you're not only going to issue a bullshit citation, mind you, both of them, all three of these citations that were theoretically issued in this. Your municipality or your jurisdiction has the fucking balls to have citations that are issuable that can't be prepaid.
Yeah, so you have to come back.
Misdemeanor for a Class C misdemeanor.
And the driver was from Canada. So he'd have to leave the country and come back to the country for a ticket.
Petty is that for a misdemeanor?
Yeah. Well, we're never going to Kentucky. I can tell you that much right now.
Never. Bro, like you were not part of the blue that I back.
No.
Like I can't.
But I watched it and I was like, "Oh my god, that's him. That is."
Bro, my myocarditis is acting up right now. Dude.
That was our fellow. That was our classmate in Kentucky, right there.
Shout out to those guys. They handled it. I think as well as you could have.
I watched like 6 of their videos.
I'm more mad. I'm not even there, and I'm more mad than they were. To be honest.
Yeah.
Like
they're so respectful to every police interaction, and like I said, 9 times out of 10, it's perfectly fine.
I even defended old Seattle guys. Like, hey, show me your ID detention. I was able to at least walk through my head and say, sure, if there's guys vandalizing the place and all that kind of stuff, you can see where there's some sort of utility for community safety. And there are residents there that I bet are perfectly happy with the fact that law enforcement's keeping these people that are like graffitiing the piss out of this place and destroying all the businesses that are there, keeping them out. I'm sure they're perfectly happy with that.
Yeah.
You got the one guy that gave him a little bit of attitude or whatever and decided to TikTok video out of it. I'm not even mad at him because as long as he's paying taxes, it is what it is. But like,
I'm annoyed with him doing that for a video.
I'm with you, but like, to me, it spits on the graves of officers that have really. Again, you look at the 2 officers that died in New York.
Yeah. Well, why? Like, why are you a cop?
To help? Like, that's what I'm getting at. Like trying to like save someone from a domestic. You know, or the officers that I watched get hurt. Heck, I've been hospitalized for trying to do stuff as far as keeping the peace. But like.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's literally crazy.
I really have spent like the last 5 minutes trying to figure out, like in the back of my mind, is there a public good that his actions were trying to serve?
No, because he didn't catch them speeding. They weren't driving recklessly.
It's ego.
Yeah.
I hope his penis doesn't work.
I mean, it probably doesn't. So
I mean, I legitimately, I won't apologize. You can take it. Producer Juan can go take that clip, piss off like probably a third of the law enforcement community. I don't care because you're not part of the law enforcement community. That shit pisses me.
Well, we don't want you in the law enforcement community when you act like that.
I have no. And if you're gonna apologize for that, like if you're gonna sit there and go through the trouble of trying to like apologize for some guy having a fucking ego trip just because these kids have, is it kind of dumb that these kids have these cars and they're driving around doing whatever? They're not doing anything illegal. They're not doing anything reckless. And if anything, with all those sponsorships, they're not going to risk a $700,000 car on some petty, stupid street race.
No.
And if they are, oftentimes, these are the guys that go find a big old empty stretch of roadway.
Yeah.
And go race them there. That's fine.
So,
I literally, genuinely do not have a problem with that.
What they do is they rally across the country and go to different motorsports parks and they race on the tracks. But they drive the cars there. And it's also for charity. So it's like...
Well, that's what I'm getting at. These guys are going out of their way to try to enjoy something in the most responsible way they possibly can.
Do they drive fast on the highway? Yes, they drive fast on the highway. You're in a Lamborghini. Like,
send them a write-up. No, a write-up is for officers doing the right thing.
Yeah.
The whole admin skit thing is to honor the officers that are doing it.
To give them attention.
This guy, I'm talking shit not in character because it fucking pisses me off.
Yeah.
And these guys make my editing
Yeah.
Producer Juan. Yeah. I'm sorry. I went on like a way too long of a rant for that.
Bro, I knew that. I watched it last night and I was like, this has to make the live stream today because I know it's going to get you.
I'm mad. That ruined my day, dude. Like, I legitimately, like, I'm going to leave this stream pissed off. Like, I'm going
to... Here, let me see if there's some better...
I need to do drugs or something, dude. Like, this is bad. This just pisses me off so much.
Let's see which one this is.
Please show me someone that gets it. I just need an officer that gets it. There's a trooper.
Has to happen now. Sooner the better.
Like the first thing, license registration. Is there a B test?
Yeah, and P.
Oh no! YouTube got us.
Yeah, they got us.
I'm not a millionaire.
Crypto is complicated, but as a
Yeah, mute that.
Man.
These losers.
They got us good. It's a non-skippable ad.
I'm
Another one. Okay, here we go.
I'm taking really, really deep breaths for this.
Skip this shit.
Hey, hey, send your ID. We got numerous driving complaints on you guys. That's why we're stopping you. Okay.
Nope, not this guy.
He was being pretty chill.
Do anything.
We're all parked back here.
I went to go park in front, and then now a police officer is stopping me.
For what?
I don't know.
Oh, this is funny.
So far, by the way. Good to hear.
They always get the Ferraris. 180, 14 copy.
No, I didn't get you.
Listen to this.
Shout out to this guy's outer vest.
Yeah.
And his revolver. Oh my god.
Listen.
Quit driving like a douchebag.
Okay. Yeah. What I think the concern was is that the lieutenant down there says that you were driving. Okay. The lieutenant down there said that you were driving a little fast with other people. So just.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I got it.
All right. All right, guys, go ahead.
No problem.
He gets it.
You feel better?
He gets it. That's incredible. That's amazing. Is this guy like a Canadian cop? What is this?
This is Chicago or Minnesota. It's Minnesota.
Dude. This guy's got a revolver, a handheld radio, and a ball cap, dude. This guy's straight out of like the '60s.
Here's a trooper for you.
We need high five. Right on.
Oh, this guy gets it.
In a group this size, that no one person is going to be able to jurisdict what everybody does. But we're getting a ton of complaints, 911 calls from people reporting reckless driving, excessive speeds and stuff. You guys probably noticed I was handling a crash back down the road when we went by. Everybody moved over. You know, I was like, whenever they're putting that information out on the radio, I was like, well, as they go by me, everybody's good, you know, but that doesn't change the fact
like
that we're
10 or 11 groups of cars.
Right.
So we actually passed one of your officers and he just waved.
Well, and for the most
as
part,
long as you're being safe.
Yeah. But like I said, it's just the 911
thought you were
calls,
him because
the 911 calls that we're getting saying, you know, and not to mention one of the supervisors down south reported sports cars at 120 miles an hour on the interstate. You know, that's just
he went like this.
So, and again, I'm not saying that any one of you were driving 120 miles an hour. I would just ask that as a group, if you guys would try to, you know, keep it under control.
We'll have somebody messing
There it is.
I would appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
No worries.
Look at that. Look at that.
Is that so
Look
hard?
at that.
And this is the one
It's
that was
not.
this guy coming in right. He's had enough.
You might not be able to get me out.
No, you'll be okay.
I locked it so they didn't confetti cannon my car.
I just tried to get into a buddy's Corvette the other day, and I was like, dude, I just.
Are they gonna let him sit in it?
Bro.
That's hilarious.
So
I'd be
he-
like, bro,
so
I got a gun belt on. This is gonna
He
be a
doesn't
hard
get
day.
in, but there's several there's one video where they let this like Back County, Michigan cop, they let her drive it around the parking lot. They let her drive the Lambo around the parking lot. And then there's other ones where the cops get in, and I'm like, bro, my gun belt would completely ruin your seat. I'm not like.
I was about to say I wouldn't.
There was another one in, I don't remember what city it was, but there was 3 officers. They shut down traffic behind them so they could drive across this like cool lit up bridge and get like cool drive-by shots.
You know what? You could sit there and say we're just trying to bring awareness to the community, and we're trying to bring. I can understand these.
I just how you can act like that, and then you, on the other hand, you have that cop that wrote them those fucking petty ass tickets, dude. How are you the same profession? I just don't even get it.
Oh yeah,
It's cool. I love this. I love this channel.
Yeah, producer Juan says, "Producer breakdown. Keep your camera in focus, man."
They do it. They like we are spoiled with Juan because these guys do a terrible job.
We're pretty spoiled. I will say that we get really nice like thumbnails and stuff like that. And
yeah,
he's over there building us a Valheim like map from like something out of Minecraft. It's pretty.
Calm
impressive.
down, Juan. I'm on my personal YouTube, okay?
Yeah, he's all mad at us for not using the pre. One also like he acts like he does that just for us, and like I see so much Genshin Impact stuff on that. Like half the time when I use it, I'm like
yeah, I don't want to dick up your browsing history with my silly videos.
Yeah, man. He's gonna be for research purposes doing stuff. We can't have that stuff getting us demonetized. Producer One. Is that all the clips?
That's it.
I guess my takeaway from this for you guys, if you guys made it this far, thank you. If you've made it this far, join our Patreon, or at least like and subscribe. Subscribe so you can get updates when we go live. Every time we go live. It's typically Tuesday and Thursday. Today was weird, or this week was weird. We ended up doing it on Friday. He says, "Hey, I need to know what weeafoos to summon."
Oh my god!
I love one.
Also, you can join Patreon for $1 a month, you bums.
Yes, you get to talk to us directly when we organize our Let's Plays or when we organize content like this to go see. I actually had Boom 11 actually. Foundation video. I totally wish we could find a way to make it law enforcement related. I might try to see if I can take clips out of it. It was really awesome. Shout out to that. I might go and find if he can drop a link in the description. He can, or in the chat. So anyways, go ahead and join us there. We go. If you're a really good cop, go check us out on TikTok because I write up good cops all the time on TikTok. And if you're a really bad cop, don't watch these podcasts because we typically talk shit about you because we hate you.
We do indeed.
And if you have a belt buckle it's made to look like handcuffs, don't wear it. Keep that to yourself.
I get what you're going for, but
yeah, big takeaway on all this stuff collectively is understand what you're getting yourself into. Law enforcement's such a weird area now that either on one end, I think you're giving too much to a community that really doesn't, in my personal opinion, deserve it. So unless you want to channel your inner Batman, just take that burden on because you're a better person than me, knock it out. I admire you for it, and I appreciate that there are still people willing to do it. And if you are just an egotistical asshole and you are doing it just because you like writing tickets and being in control of stuff, I hope your penis doesn't work. Or that, I don't know, something that has to deal with female anatomy. I got to be careful with that one, though. New OnlyCops handcuff belt buckles. I swear, Juan, I will. We will riot.
No.
No.
Nope.
Anyways, we're going to be shooting some content tomorrow, actually. We're going to be shooting some content this weekend, so we're going to have some stuff coming out for you guys. If you guys have any suggestions for content, you guys have like 12 hours to give suggestions. Go ahead and comment on this video or any of our other videos. Direct message us on Instagram or on TikTok. We'll be going live on TikTok tomorrow, actually, if you guys want to catch us there.
We might do TikTok and Instagram tomorrow.
We just might. Like I said, we go live twice a week. Go check us out every time we do that. We have Valley we're getting prepared for. If you guys are interested in that, we are getting a server. I think we can take up to 10. Obviously, that invitation goes to our Patreon people first before we open that up to everybody else. We're playing Ready or Not, which is still incredibly fun. It's only an alpha, so I'm pumped about that, about the potential that has. We have.
I think we'll be playing that for a long time.
Yeah, we have Halo Infinite. I know we've done Phasmophobia. I know we've done. Hey, I already said Halo. We're considering Call of Duty. I got to buy some games to go do that. And then Battlefield has also been a discussion. So if you guys are interested in that. Later, gents. Chris, I appreciate you coming by. Like I said, you are an OG, and we love you. If you guys have anything you want to see, like I said, let us know. Ask us questions, and come check us out on the live stuff. I appreciate you guys riding 2 men with us tonight. And until next time, peace. That guy still has me pissed off.